This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
I was in Corpus Christi, and my friend was like, because she knew I was in Texas, she was like, holy shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm Southern. I'm good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yes.
The only hurricane that found me was little Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
He acts like a fucking hurricane.
What? I want to hear the story again.
Sir Charles Norris?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Are we sharing?
Yes.
Sharing's carrying. Oh, okay. Are we recording? That's what's happening.
Yes.
Well, welcome to my worst date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
That's the quickest we've ever done an intro. Like, just right off the top.
We started off one time, remember?
Wow.
Yeah, we did it. We did it good.
I'm proud of us. Out of the way. All right,
so
great.
To catch everybody up to speed, I was in Texas this week, and I was staying at the Hampton Inn, coincidentally right next door to where Selena was shot. So that's a thing that happened. That was a yikes. And
is it still a functioning hotel?
Yeah, it is. It's a Night's End now. I don't know what it was at the time. But then my rep, who always, whenever I'm in Corpus Christi, she always likes to show me anything Selena related. It's very funny. Like, Corpus is very about, like, they're V about Selena. Like, you can go to HEB and get, like, collector mugs of, like, Selena. Like, but that's, you know, she's from there. So, like, they are, like, they still stand her hard.
Aww.
So it's cool. It's very
Same
cool.
Corpus.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I know, which is why I texted you guys immediately. I was like, oh my God.
Did we do her for Crazy in Love?
We
No,
did it,
but
but I
that's
don't think that she's crazy in love. That her
I mean, she was obsessed with
manager
her.
was-
Her manager was
manager
obsessed
was
with her.
or was she
Obsessed.
obsessed with her money?
Well, no, I think she was obsessed with her.
Okay.
In the
I think
beginning,
there's a deep dive here to
I
be
think it's
had.
both. I think
Yeah.
it's both.
I think there's a deep
All
dive
right,
here.
we'll do that. We'll do that one
That's
in the
a good
future.
one. I feel like you should do that one. You were
I fucking
You
love
fucking
Selena,
love
man. She was everything to me when I was a kid.
So, Monday evening, just finished class, went outside, went out to like the backside of my hotel to smoke a cigarette, like just standing outside the door in the little smoker section. And I feel a little tap at the bottom of my leg. And I was like, the fuck is that? So I look down and it's a baby kitten. The babyest of baby kittens.
I am the most jealous of you.
And-
like,
Oh my God.
He is a dirt storm. So I bend down because I'm like, of course I'm gonna fucking pet this kitty.
Yeah.
And then he crawls up in my lap and I was like, ugh. So I
the little pig pen of cats. He's like,
yes, he was.
He's got like a dust storm around him.
100% was pigpen of cats. He really was. So he is like sitting there and he's like, you know, giving me some talk. And I was like, right on. Well, I gotta go. And he was
deuces, hope you can
he's
make it
like,
out here.
I would like to follow you. And I was like, I may or may not leave the door open a little longer than normal while I'm walking through here. And let him walk into the hotel with me. And so I went to the front desk though, and I was like, hey, you guys have like this kitten out here. And he, you know, I'm kind of worried about him, whatever.
Yeah, he's tiny.
Tiny.
A little baby.
Yeah, he couldn't be more than 4 or 5 weeks old. Like he's teensy tiny.
Yeah.
And so we're the guy at the front desk who random, like he just was I don't even know how to explain him. He was like Informer, like Snow. That's like what he reminded me of. It was like a 90s white rapper. That's awesome. So, but who at the time, like when I
so specific that I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know.
But
I
you guys
see him.
are picturing him,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Got him in my head.
Like when I first saw him, I was like, oh, he beats his girlfriend.
Oh, no.
No.
But then when I brought the cat in, he was so fucking like,
I love watching tough
kitty,
people just
kitty.
melt,
Right,
like
right.
when they see little baby
and then I was
animals.
like, okay, maybe you don't. You know?
Yeah.
I was like, I misjudged you.
Yeah.
You are. And so I was like, okay, is there like a shelter nearby? Is there a place we can take him? And he's looking up online. He's like, everything's closed. He tried calling one place. And he's like, they're closed. And he tried to call this emergency place. And it was like, call 911. And they were like, he's like, I don't think we
For a
should do that.
kitten?
Yeah, I don't think we should do that.
Why?
And then he was like, well, there's this one place that is open. He goes, but you cannot take him there. He's like, this place is fucking horrible. It's disgusting. He'd be safer outside. Like,
Aw.
it's so bad. Like, he's like, do not take him. And I was like, oh, okay, well, cool. I'm going to go up to my room and leave this kitten with you. And I kind of like just glided away. And then I texted my husband a picture earlier, and he was like, oh, this and that. And I was like, he's like, bring the cat home. And I was like, I'm not fucking bringing this cat home. I was like, I have to work. I'm going to be like in and out of salons. I'm like, I can't just be traipsing a cat around. Like I have fucking work to do. And he goes, his text back was, figure it out. I was like, what?
Ooh.
And he's like, I was like, wow. And he goes,
I feel like
softened
Chris,
it with a smiley face.
I feel like Chris doesn't often put his foot down.
No.
So he's just like, no, I want that cat.
He's like,
figure
you
it
will
out.
bring the cat home.
That's
And so I did. And I went and bought like a cat carrier, and it was a fucking ordeal. I ain't gonna play. Like it was a fucking ordeal. Like I couldn't travel.
Worth it.
Yeah, hashtag worth it. He's
because
and
he
here,
is
speak of the devil.
such a little cutie. You can hear him.
I hope you can
hear him.
Oh, what you doing, bub?
He is so little.
I hope you can hear him.
I literally want to Lenny his head off. I really do. Of mice and men,
I know.
want to squeeze him.
It's just so cute. It makes me mad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so anyway, he is Sir Charles Norris Paxton,
AKA Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, little Chucky.
Little Chuck.
Yes, he's
I call him
very
Charlie.
cute. I have some real talk. Speaking of Anthony, we went out last night, and I was shocked to learn how upset Anthony is about my dating situation.
He is very upset about it. Yes.
Let me know. He was like very vocal about how upset he is
He's just
at
like,
my dating situation.
These men, you deserve so much better than these men that you're dating. It's not okay. Like, you're such a wonderful person.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if he was mad or sad.
Yeah, I know. I was just stunned. It was like this whole thing. I mean, I guess I was kind of thinking about it on the drive over, because this is going to be episode 51. So we're almost a year.
Oh my God,
listeners,
it's crazy.
Into and I've shared my own dating stories, but I haven't really like done a deep dive with listeners about a lot of like back and forth and everything like that. But I haven't really dated anyone in a year. And so, Anthony's talk kind of got under my skin a little bit, not in like a bad way, but I was just like, he is right. Like, I am a catch. And it just kind of bummed me out, because I'm like, I have been like talking to a bunch of losers, and I can't even get a loser to like me. So like, what the fuck?
That's probably a good thing, though.
Yeah.
I think the way you got to look at it is this. First and foremost, a year is still a healing process.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you, throughout all of this, if the right guy came along, he could have slapped you across the face, and it would have been like, nope. Can't, I mean, not literally slapped you across the face. But,
But yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. Is like, yeah, it's been a year, but it's only been a couple of months that you've been willing to really like
open yourself up.
You
Right.
weren't looking for anybody to be serious with, and so you closed yourself off to a lot of options deliberately in the beginning. So I mean, yeah, it's like been a year, but not really,
Right. In the grand scheme of things, in the big picture of this, I mean, divorce takes a long time. Finalization is still coming along. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a long time. And as you're going through that, you're going through a healing process. And yeah, you're going to go through some duds. It's good that you've gone. It's actually, I feel like, probably better that you've gone through a bunch of this, so that you can, when you are at this place where you're starting to now become ready, you know what you're looking for. B, you're going to be more open to it. And C, totally past that old shit. You know what I mean? Like, you've worked through your baggage and some of this. It is a process. And I think that there's some, we've talked about this before. It's important to forgive yourself when a relationship goes wrong.
Right.
I think we do a lot of forgiving the other person. Yeah. And we forget that sometimes it's about forgiving ourselves during that process that we have to do.
Yeah, we talked about that last night too, because Anthony was like really upset about the way that my relationship like ended and that sort of thing. I'm like, and we've had other relationships within the group end recently. So we've kind of talked about how like, that there is no side to be on. Right. That like truly like when
sometimes
a relationship,
two people are just not compatible.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean, and sometimes two people bring out the worst in each other. And so even when they're behaving badly, and you can objectively be like, this person behaved badly, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. It means they were in a toxic situation a lot of the times.
And a lot of times you do behaviors in those situations that you wouldn't maybe normally do.
That's right. I mean, I was a different person in my last relationship
I see that.
because that environment wasn't good for me. It brought out like the worst parts of myself. And it doesn't make me a bad person or him a bad person. It means that we should not have been together.
Yeah.
You guys, I told you about my shame receipt when I was with my high school boyfriend. I was just in a different place personally, even myself. Like I wasn't over like just being out of high school and always kind of feeling like that negative energy around myself, probably dealing with anxieties and stuff that I wasn't ready to face for, full on. And, like, are you talking about me? You know what I mean? Like that kind of stupid shit where you're just like, oh, I just look back and literally wake up and cringe, but that's it. It's time and place. I do believe that there's something to be said about like just even who you are in that time. I know that when we went through, like everybody kind of goes through that premarital counseling thingy before you get married kind of stuff. And Chris and I, when we talked to Rev about like, some of the stuff, he's like, it's important to think about growing together. He goes, when Rev was talking about meeting his wife, who Sam.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was a rock star, like I was playing rock music. I was doing this stuff and now I'm a fucking reverend. Like, how do you come from point A to point B? And it's about growing together. Yeah. And not everybody grows together. Some people grow apart. And that's
what happened with mine, God, fucking 19, 20 is very different from 30, you just become different people. But where I'm at right now, I actually spent a few hours the other day actually journaling and just writing down, like, it felt really weird to do and like new agey, but I wrote down exactly what I'm looking for. It's on a piece of paper. It's out there, like in the universe. Like I wrote down a list of qualities. I've now been dating for about a year and a half. I've met some really cool people. I've met some really fucking weird people, and it's helped me, I guess, see like the things that I consider important, the things that turn me on, the things that turn me fucking off. Right. Someone's like, yeah, I don't like to read. I'm like, that's a turn off.
Yeah.
So,
and you know what though? I think that you recently had that experience where like there was a couple things that, and I don't want to call them red flags because I don't think they make this person a bad person. It's just that for you, like you said, it's a turnoff, and you're kind of like, well, but and and I'm like, if you're already feeling that way, that's not going to change,
right?
Like
that's only going to get more.
Yeah, you just let that go. Like there's no sense in like carrying on in a place where you're like, there's a dead end here. This isn't going to,
Right. I mean, I think it's also like, is it worth it to you or not? Like, is the person worth it to you or not? Because there is a certain amount of compromising that does happen in any relationship. You're not ever going to meet somebody who's just like, you tick all of my yes boxes and none of my no boxes.
Yeah,
like, that's never going to
happen. Yeah.
So you have to weigh, like, is it worth, do the no's outweigh, does the bad outweigh the good, or vice versa? Like you have to kind of like make that determination, and also allow for the fact that like people will change, and you like not in that like you can change him, like not like that, but like being around Anthony has changed me in ways,
right? Sure,
like for the better, and in ways that make me more compatible with him, just like from the nature of like our relationship and spending time together. So I think what it comes down to is like having to determine, like, you don't want to write someone off immediately all the time because there is one thing that you don't love.
Sure.
But you have to ride that line between also not compromising what you want and who you are. You have to just kind of weigh those. And that can be a really murky line, and then you get like too far in, and like it's a difficult kind of path to navigate.
Yeah.
But
and Chris still doesn't squeeze the tube of toothpaste from the top. He'll go for the middle, and it still pisses me off. My mom always used to say to me that one little thing that'll drive you crazy, like it's just like, oh, that's annoying, will literally drive you fucking nuts at some point in your relationship once you get really deep into it. I mean, at this point now, if it's really just squeezing the toothpaste from the middle, I can let that go.
Like, I think we'll let that slide.
Yeah.
The good outweighs the bad in that way. But I mean, it's hard to tell. Yeah. Like, it's just hard to tell, like, what is going to make you the most crazy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a difficult
somebody
thing.
with like zero creative hobbies,
Sure.
nothing going on. Like,
well, that's what we talk about deal
Beyond.
breakers. There are
you.
certain things that are like for you. It's important to know like what can I not get beyond. Like it does not matter how great you are in these other ways. If you don't have these attributes, or if you do have these negative attributes, I cannot get it beyond it. Like,
Right.
period. You know, it's good to know that about yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked deal breakers on this podcast so many times, but I do agree with you. I think it's funny that you said that when you were talking about this person not reading, like it kind of is. Like, I didn't realize until like you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, that would actually bother me that somebody, I mean, and that's just a personal thing. That means nothing to a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't read and don't enjoy it.
And that's
totally
fine.
cool.
They can go off and be illiterate with each other. That's
Well,
amazing.
and I think
There's a dog for every bed.
I think it's also that I know who you're talking about, and like this person has no other creative pursuits.
Zero.
It might be different if like he's like, I don't enjoy reading, it makes me sleepy, or like whatever, but I paint, or like I, you know, do something else. I have a band. I
have an outlet.
I have an outlet. I do something.
I do things.
I do something.
I do
like,
something.
you know what I mean?
I live a life. But yeah, I'm like,
Because I know people. Anthony doesn't read because it makes him sleepy. He doesn't like to read.
Anthony
But you know,
does
he
so
listens
many creative
to,
things.
He listens to books on
And he's got
Audible,
hobbies.
and he's got hobbies,
And he plays soccer like every day.
Yeah, he's
like,
at soccer right now.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah.
Not
so
surprising.
it's kind of it's just that would be a deal breaker for me. Not that you don't read, but that you have nothing going on. I cannot be your activity.
yeah,
Like, because
exactly.
I'm just like I don't.
That's what it makes me nervous.
Right.
Is that like, you know, I have so much stuff going on in my life, and I want someone else that also has a lot of stuff going on in their life, and then we can come together and talk about it and be excited to live life, not just like, I don't know, like not having hobbies or something like that makes me nervous.
me
It makes me feel
personally-
like it's going to be like a codependent thing.
Yeah.
And
You know
me
what I
personally,
mean?
like
100%.
I need alone time. Like I need you to be doing something that like one night a week I'm by myself in this apartment.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, you enjoy my job.
Like, well,
the
that might
opposite.
be too much.
You're
but-
like extreme.
Ooh, I don't want to shut myself off completely. But I need for us to be having separate, for me, having the podcasts that are like something that's completely my own, separate of stuff that Anthony does, and Anthony being in soccer, which is something that's completely his own.
Sure.
It like, I think it helps us.
It's good.
Yeah,
Like it's
It's
good.
good. It's a good thing.
Yeah. It's so funny because even when I'm on the road, Chris and I are not phone talkers at all. Like we'll text possibly once or twice through the week. Like we're just not people who A, feel like we have to constantly check in with each other, but B, unless something exciting happens, I'm like, it's been cool to listen to you breathe on the phone. Like I just like, I don't,
So how was your day?
Yeah.
It was the
Oh,
same
and-
as every other day.
Yeah,
and
small talk is
traffic
so
was the
lame.
wor- I was like, that's how I feel. Like, and I think Chris and I are both in the same boat. We talked 2 to 3 times every day this week because of the fucking kitten.
Yes.
So, and between FaceTiming and talking on the phone, we were on the phone like every fucking day. It was so weird.
Can
but
you
it's
put the
because-
cat on the phone?
Yeah. I know you're not calling for me. Here he is.
Yeah, but it's amazing because you guys are really strong, and that works for you. And that's what I'm saying is that, like, you know, I feel like this year has taught me that, like, you find what works for you. Like for
Absolutely.
me, I'm like, I know what kind of communication style I'm looking for. I know what I need. I know what I want.
And sometimes
so-
it's just a matter of it feels right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's part of it too, like you're like, this communication style is the only way that I like. And then somebody comes along with something new and you're like, okay, but that works too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think you're just coming to this place where
You
you're
know,
like open. To
Yeah.
that.
Speaking
Which is great.
to compromises, you know, whenever I was talking about like, yeah, sometimes you need to like compromise. You also don't need to force anything either. Like if it doesn't feel right, then it's like, then it's just not like,
Yeah.
you know, and that's okay too. And you
see-
don't have to rationalize like it's not right because of XYZ. It's just not right. And you don't need to like force it.
Yeah.
You know,
That's how I feel about polo.
That was the other thing that I was thinking, like, I'm excited to take the next step beyond just like first or second date. Like that's the fun part of being excited to learn who someone is, and that little like line between exhilaration and anxiety that you get when you really, really like someone.
Right.
And I haven't had that feeling in a really, really long time.
Right. Yeah,
where
no,
you're just-
or is the guy going to show up on the third date with a bag of cocaine?
Oh my God.
I mean, that's a
Cocaine.
different level. That's a different level of
Oh,
my
listeners.
God. Yes, that
That was
that
something that happened.
Yeah. I'll save a couple of those for shorties.
Okay, sorry.
For sure.
you can cut that out if you want.
That's fine. Well,
So-
we should get into fuck, marry, kill.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
can we? I know this is a long intro, but I feel like we need to talk about Moby.
oh God.
We need to talk
do
about
we?
Moby.
Moby and
do
Natalie
we?
Portman. That fucking photo made me laugh
is-
so
I'm
hard
like,
because I was like,
"This is your
this
these are
is
your receipts,
receipt,
sir?
This is what you want to put out in the
Oh,
world."
dear.
Because I wanted to zoom in on her face,
Where
her,
she's like,
her eyes, and I was like, "I've fucking been you, girl.
well,
I have
Every
been
woman
you."
in the world is like, I know that face.
That's why I want to talk about Moby is because I'm just
Oh my
like
God.
every girl in the world. I'm like, Moby, you are doing the most to try and convince us that like you had this relationship. Meanwhile, every girl who has ever existed at 18 in the world
Yeah.
knows that this is not the case.
No.
And believes Natalie Portman because we're like, yeah, we all had that fucking creepy guy who was like
older
30
guy.
fucking 9 who was like,
yes.
I want to date you.
Yeah.
and you're like 18.
And you're like,
You're like, no thanks.
please
dude.
put your
That is
shirt on
so
before you take a
funny.
picture next to me, you fucking creep. Like,
so gross.
We've all been there.
and
Yeah.
she's like doubling down. Okay, so listeners, if you don't know what happened, this is what happened. So Moby wrote a book where there's some creepy passages.
P.S. Did anyone ask for Moby's book?
No.
No one.
The book that
Literally no one.
Literally zero
nobody.
people. Yeah.
Moby, here's my
book.
autobiography.
I can't wait to rate that meme.
That's a great meme.
That's a good one.
So he wrote an autobiography or memoir or fucking whatever, and why. And there is like an unnecessary chapter about like how he dated Natalie Portman. She had just turned 20 and they would like cuddle and hold hands and it was really sweet and he didn't want to hurt her or like whatever. And Natalie Portman was like, first of all, I literally just turned 18. I was 17. I just turned 18.
Gross.
Was right out of high school, went to one Moby show, met up with him behind like backstage, and all I remember is an older man, me being 18 and right out of high school, and an older man being creepy with me. That's what I remember.
yeah.
And so then fucking Moby took to like he couldn't just let
like you said, doubling down.
a sleeping
did.
dog lie. He took to Instagram and was like, I don't know why she's denying this. This totally happened. Here's a picture of us together. And this girl,
oh my God.
Natalie's face is just like, I want to do one of those memes where like you start out wide and then
Yes,
you just
it's
get
just
closer and closer on her face because
Yes.
her eyes are like, save me.
Yeah, exactly.
And he is shirtless and doing the creepiest, cringiest smile in this picture.
It's so gross.
That's your meme. You're going to make that one.
Ding, ding, ding.
yes.
Yeah, and like the fact that like you would double down on this and also not address the fact that she was a teenager and you were like 30 fucking 5.
Exactly. And he also had this like weird ass chapter on Lana Del Rey.
Oh,
too.
creepy.
Word.
So
it was creepy.
Gross.
Yeah,
I just think that's gross. I'm like,
and unnecessary.
And unnecessary. Why?
Even if it did
Why?
happen, why would you include
Why?
this in your fucking autobiography?
Why?
Except for that you just want fame by proxy.
Exactly.
Like-
'cause
Exactly.
He's so
'Cause he's so
irrelevant.
past tense at this point.
Like,
Like,
what
nobody
is he-
gives two
what has he
shits
even
about
done?
him. He's like, hey, here's two people who are like actually doing things that are famous now. I used to know them.
Maybe I fucked him. Maybe I didn't.
You don't know.
Oh, creepy.
Judge for
So
yourself.
gross.
I think since we're talking about DJs, though, I think we should do a DJ.
Oh,
right.
okay. Okay.
Sure.
I got a lot of DJ. You know, I like that shit.
You
Yeah.
do.
But you know who I think's super hot? Calvin Harris.
Ooh, he is hot.
He hot.
He is hot.
It's hot. Oh my gosh.
Did I just take the one you guys all know?
No,
I know,
no.
I know DJ Shadow. He's not hot though.
I don't know who
Not
that
anymore.
is. Okay.
You know, I'm also thinking of dude that did the thing with
Girl
the
Talk?
shins. Oh fuck yeah, Girl Talk.
Oh,
Also
Broken
RJD2.
Bells?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Broken Bells. What's his name? The mouse.
Oh my god, he's kind of
The
cute.
fuck is his name?
When I look at Skrillex,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
Dangermouse.
Ooh.
Faux show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Four.
Okay.
He's
Yes.
cute.
All right.
Yeah.
That's one of them.
Okay.
Okay,
And
so
then
we got
Calvin
Danger
Harris.
Mouse, Calvin Harris, and who else? Oh, Girl Talk. Look up Girl Talk. What's his name?
Girl talk. I don't know what his name is. What about RJD2? Chris went to school with him.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
And I think he's kind of cute.
I'm looking up Girl Talk though.
Okay. I'm going to look up RJD2.
Because I think he's a nerd. I think Girl Talk guy like found a cure to cancer or something too.
What?
Yeah.
He's cute. A lot of headbands and shirtless pictures, which I'm like,
Oh my God. If I've found Christina's match, holy shit.
What?
Christina, if that's not your match.
Who the fuck is that?
RJD2, dude.
Okay, yeah. No, I want that.
Dude.
I want to go to there.
He is, he's just the right amount of nerdy.
I want to go to there.
okay.
This picture is not good, but it is just the funniest
I mean,
thing.
he is kind of, yeah. That's kind of my type.
It is. Okay.
Well, Chris went to school with him. Make it happen.
They went to school together. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. Have you met my friend Christina? Yeah, you fucking laid into Anthony last night too. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, about to get hot in here. Spicy.
She did because Anthony was going off on like, why are you dating like online, blah blah blah. And Keegan's like, why do you think I'm constantly trying to get you to bring your soccer guys? So
I know.
She like fucking. She's like all the time.
Week.
Every
I'm like,
week.
Every week. I'm
have
like,
you met my friend Christina?
I'm like, you know what? At this point, just give me their fucking numbers. I'll do it.
Yeah, because Keegan's like, what are you talking about? Like, this is why I'm like constantly trying to blah blah blah. Because he's like laying him like, why are you dating like online? These people are
And
like
I'm just
losers
like,
and blah blah
you
blah. I'm
cannot
like,
judge. If you
where are the
we
single
can't-
guys at?
We cannot judge me and Cassie,
Oh, no,
and
no.
neither can Anthony, because all of us fucking dated before online dating was a thing,
Right?
And so we have.
I mean,
no
it was starting
conception.
out, but I just never went
It's
there. It was
easy.
too soon.
It's easy for us to say like, "Oh, you should just meet somebody in real life," because we did.
Yeah, right.
But like, that's not
not how
how
it
people
works.
do it
That's
anymore.
not how this works.
It's
That's
just
not how
not
any of this works.
It's just not how people do it anymore.
I
It's like
know.
people met in real life because they had no other options. Now people have other options, so they're just like, nah.
Yeah,
about like meeting
Yeah.
people at bars. Like,
Yeah.
my mom and my stepdad met at a club. Like
Also,
they met
let's
at
be
a club.
honest,
but
we're all suspect about that shit anymore too. We all know about Ted Bundy now.
yeah, now,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? Like,
now
we're
it's just like
eyes wide open.
I don't want to go home with you if I
No.
met you at a bar. You
Yeah.
know, I might take your number. I mean, Ben and Vera met at Booty. Like, you can take a number
I
and
mean, it
like
can happen.
and call them later, but
Right.
it's just it doesn't happen as much anymore, and
Yeah.
it's really hard as an adult to make friendships. Like, let alone, you know, you have to be involved in like activities.
Yeah.
In order to
Right.
to meet someone organically, like that's what you have to be doing. You have to be in a play. You have to be playing soccer. You got to be.
God damn it!
You
I'm gonna have
know?
to play fucking soccer.
I don't
God
want to.
bless America.
God bless America. All right, so
All right,
fuck,
so-
Mary, kill.
DJs. RJD2.
Danger,
Danger
Mouse,
Mouse,
Calvin Harris.
Calvin Harris. Ooh,
Okay.
This is hard.
It is hard.
This is really hard.
Damn, this is
actually.
hard, actually. This is harder than I thought it would be. Okay. I think I'm going to fuck Calvin Harris.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I am going to marry Dangermouse
Mhm,
because I fucking respect his talent so
And he
hard.
hot.
There's not shit that he's done that I'm like
I-
not about. And
That
I'm
man
Exactly.
is good looking too.
He's good looking.
Very
And he's
good looking.
He's got a musical intelligence that I'm really here for.
mhm.
And I'm gonna kill RJD2. Unfortunately, he's super hot, and I dig his music. It's just that when when I'm comparing him to like who do I want to fucking marry, I got Calvin Harris, and I think I would. Yeah, I'm gonna
See,
ride that.
this is a reason why we talked last week. It's like great different taste in guys.
There
Because
you go.
I'm gonna fuck RJT too.
Okay.
That picture, I was like, that's my type. I
Yeah.
want that. I want to go to there. So I'm doing that. I'm gonna
And
let.
he's from Columbus. So.
There
you
I'm gonna,
go.
we'll have
Hometown.
stuff to talk about, and I'm gonna marry Danger Mouse as well. I fucking love Broken Bells.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yep.
I love Broken Bells. Again, there's like not a lot that he's done that I'm not
Yeah.
not
Yep.
down for.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let Calvin Harris go.
Oh, well,
He's cute, but
Hot take.
I'm not
just not there for it.
not there for it.
You're not
Yeah.
Vegas DJ.
I'm not Vegas DJ for show.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to do the same thing as Cassie. I am going to marry. We're all marrying Danger Mouse. We're just doing that. I am going to fuck Calvin Harris, not for any real reason. I mean, he is good looking, and you know, well, that's fine. He's fine. Like
This is fine.
everything about Calvin Harris is just like okay. I mean, he's British, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah, so
Ooh,
that's
that
cool.
accent.
Yeah, but you got that nice, deep Columbus, Ohio accent
Oh,
coming
yeah.
out.
I
Shit.
mean,
Can I have a pop?
It's basically the same thing. Yeah, all those flat E's.
Yeah.
So I am, I mean, Calvin Harris is pretty like white bread for me. I mean, he's very unoffensive. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, This is fine. Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'll fuck Calvin Harris. And I don't know anything about RJD2. I'd never listened to his music.
I know I guarantee a song.
And he looks pretty white bread to me too. So
he is.
I'm just gonna go with the British white bread.
Yeah.
To fuck. I mean, no offense to
exactly. If they're
RJD2.
both Brit or white bread. Got to get that accent.
I mean, because Dangermouse has got like a little something going on.
Yeah,
he's got like, I like his style.
Yeah.
You know,
he's got good. Yeah, I just yeah.
He's talented.
He's cool.
I'm gonna nail that down.
Yeah.
Lock it in.
DJs, this is perfect to chat about since we've been dying to go out hitting the club
we
lately.
need to go dancing.
I want to dance right now.
So bad.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I mean,
so
like
bad.
if we found something tonight, I'm not gonna say no.
Wouldn't say no.
I
got no plans. So
I got no plans.
I will do some Googling when we leave here.
All right. Excellent. All right. Well, should we take 5 and come back with stories?
Yes, let's do it. And we're back.
Yes.
We're back with wine because it is National Wine Day, International Wine Day.
Apparently,
it's wine
National Wine Day.
Well,
okay.
I mean,
every day's wine day.
I know. I've been celebrating for
years and years and years. So cheers on that. I get to go first because I have the crazy in love.
Can we talk about how this is called Ponzi Vineyards and that makes me nervous?
It's a scheme.
It's a scheme. Hilarious. It's a scheme.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a red I tried by them too that I didn't really care for. So guess they're not giving us any money. So there you go. And also, thank you for listening to the dulcet tones of my allergy voice. So my apologies to listeners.
Girl, my voice is annoying all the time anyway.
I just feel like mine's super husky.
You got kind of that smelly cat, sexy
I
Phoebe
know.
voice.
I know. That's so cute.
Smelly cat
Bye
voice.
bye, babies.
Yes. So, okay, we got this through our website. She says, "Hey, ladies, love your podcast. It makes my morning runs a lot more bearable to take you guys along with me." Oh my god, actually take me with you because
I legit though.
Like, wait, where do you need to run? Yes.
I went on
Let's run together.
I went on 2 jogs last week. I went on 2 jogs, which for me, listen, my Anthony, I think about fainted when I told him I was like, I went on a jog this morning. He's like, "What? Who are you? And what have you done with my fiance?" But seriously, 2 jogs, and then the next day after that, I'm like, my legs are so sore.
You're like, I can't.
I need a day of rest.
Okay, she says, "I don't know if you actually want them, but I figured I'd share my worst roommate story."
Always.
Yes.
Because I'm sure this is another one of those things that we've all had. And it's really, it is a roommate story, but it's kind of a date story too. Okay. So you'll get to see how it links together. Layers. The roommate I had at the time was moving out and I needed to find someone else to move in or get an apartment with because I couldn't afford rent on my own. Get it. Totally. I sent out a Facebook post asking if anyone needed a roommate, and one of my friends tagged her friend, Casey, in the message, and she ended up DMing me. I'd hung out with her a few times, but I didn't know her super well, and I'd rather have someone I kind of know move into my apartment than find a stranger off Craigslist and trust them with my life because that's how you get datelined. And no thanks.
Right.
Fucking men. Who wants to live it? That's why we just did single white female.
That's
right.
That's
right. Don't put out that personal ad.
So Casey moved in and everything was fine. It wasn't great. She kind of annoyed me and needed a bizarre amount of attention.
That's exactly right.
But we hung out together and we were having fun. She never cooked, cleaned, bought any groceries or did any housework at all. She literally just laid around watching Sex in the City all day, eating takeout.
Relatable though.
I know. We've all been there.
I mean, we really have.
She didn't drink, but always insisted that we go to bars, which I found weird. But I knew she was looking for dudes, so it seemed like the easiest place to find them.
But if you don't, I mean, it's true, but if you don't drink, do you really want to find your boyfriend in a bar? That seems like a...
Probably not, because then she started dating this guy she met who was in the military. and thought that the government was trying to control his thoughts and had people following him.
Oh. Cool.
He wore a tinfoil hat and everything.
Sir.
I honestly did not know this was a thing people ever actually did.
I need somebody to talk about deal breakers. First of all, you bust out that
tinfoil hat.
That tinfoil hat. We
deal
are
breaker, huh?
We are done. You're leaving right immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah.
But also, I need somebody with experience in this. Maybe we should ask the Keep It Weird girls. They'd probably know. What is it supposed to do? I don't believe that.
So it blocks like antenna. No, it doesn't. Like, but if in your mind, like you think people are reading your thoughts, the idea is that something like a tinfoil hat would block that.
I need the science behind that, though. Like,
I'm sure there is no science behind it, just like there's no science behind somebody actually reading your mind.
But like, here's the thing. I understand. I get this. I get it. I understand that this is not a situation that would really happen. But if I was someone who believed this, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Whenever, do you remember when you had like bunny ear antenna?
Yeah.
And if you weren't getting good reception, you'd put tinfoil on it
and marry them,
and it would get you better reception.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't you think it would be more conducive to allowing reception to your thoughts if you put tinfoil on your head?
Oh my God, dude. There are like
you just ruined so many lives right now.
Crazy people that are listening to this podcast that like literally just took their tinfoil hats off and are like, Keegan speaks the truth.
I'm just saying, I do a little research if you're trying to block your thoughts being read. Anyway.
Tune in next week when we talk about the flat earth. Anyways. Okay, so she dated him for about 3 months.
That's too long. That's 3 months too many.
3 months. Oh my God, that's 2 months and 20 days too long. Yeah. Oh my God. She starts then serial dating guys, literally 5 to 7 dates every week. Can you imagine? Here's why I think I live on my own, because no judgment. I fucking serial dated like, I don't know, 8 months ago, where it was
you had a period of time where
5
you were
to
like
7 dates a week. I was like, is my part-time job now?
Yeah.
This is what
you're
play
double
for?
Booking. You're fucking penciling shit in.
I know. I'm like, I have coffee at 4 and I have happy hour at 6 and late night drinks at 8 and let's get her done. It's Wednesday night.
Appointments.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, not a big deal unless you're bringing all those people home and you live with a roommate who is like, that's
you got to be considerate of your roommate. Because you're not just opening your apartment up to strange men that you maybe don't know.
Killer.
Yeah,
right.
You're opening your roommate to that.
So yeah, she started.
Like, bitch, I didn't sign up for this.
She started bringing these guys back to her apartment. She says again, as long as you're being safe, I'm not going to judge you. Except she wasn't being safe, and she would tell me in explicit detail about all the things they did and how she didn't use protection.
No, I did not sign up for this.
No, I didn't even need her to tell me what they did because I could hear the loud sex she was having since she was one room over from me. And she'd take them into the shower with her the next morning, despite the fact that we only had one bathroom and I needed to get ready for work.
No. Get the fuck.
You're sitting on your bed with your compact.
You're like, and then, meanwhile, it's like, fuck me harder. And you're like,
and then you have to get into that fucking shower after that too.
Oh God, no!
You're just looking at it like, oh.
Did you use that after shower spray?
I know.
You
dumping bleach in it before you get in.
Scrubbing bubbles, please. Scrubbing bubbles.
All I'm asking.
If you could just a thin layer of Clorox,
just everywhere.
She just like gets up in the morning and just like puts in earplugs. She's like, oh God.
You could gargle Clorox and not speak to me with that mouth.
That would be great.
Great.
Oh my God. And plus, like, okay, we're friends and I've told you about like sexcapades that I've had, but I've never been like explicit.
Also, too, you're not some random like friend of a friend roommate.
Right.
Yeah, it's different.
But I would never, I also like do not like throw down on freaking details.
We're the best of friends. I'm expecting more from you. Not gonna lie.
I mean, listen.
I mean, if
we
you
could
want
use more detail.
Okay, all right. Well,
but at the same time, we're all old enough that we like back when, you know, you're fucking back when you're 18 or 19 and it's just like, yeah, you're going to hear your friends having sex because everybody's like an inconsiderate asshole. But like we're old enough now that like, I love you guys. I don't want to hear any of your loud sex noises.
I may or may have a shame receipt from that.
Oh,
nice.
I told you mine about camping. Yeah. That's on one of those shorty episodes.
Did I tell you real quickly, because I'll save it for the shorty and give you one of mine. Did I ever tell you guys about not stopping?
No.
Nope.
Right, are we going to have a shame receipt shorty? Just double down and we'll all shame receipt it. Anyways,
okay.
So here's where it gets soups fucked up. And here's where I'm like, fuck you, Casey. So she says, when I started dating my now boyfriend, she invited herself everywhere with us.
Again,
she's inviting herself into the
single
bedroom,
white
isn't she?
female situation.
Taking a break, in quotes, from dating. So I let her tag along, assuming she was bored. She complains like constantly about them like going out, and whenever he stayed over, she would come out into the room wearing a see-through nightie, nipples completely exposed, and a thong.
I'm speechless.
I have questions about this.
Shocked, right?
Because
shocked.
Because
Imagine.
What's her excuse? Because it's not like anybody is just chilling at home alone in their bedroom, just like, I'm dressed for bed in my PJs. Like no one wears like a fucking like see-through lingerie and thong to just like hang out by themselves.
Yeah. And so when I politely asked her to put clothes on, she said, "It's my body. I can decide what I do with it."
Okay.
I mean, I really didn't have an argument for that because that's true. And truth be told, I admire her confidence. I work out every day and still wouldn't have the balls to show myself off. But since it was my boyfriend she was showing off to, I was less impressed. Girl, you are so much nicer than I am because I would have clawed that bitch's eyes
she knows
out.
exactly what she's doing.
exactly what she's doing.
Yeah.
And again, like, Sure. I mean, I'm all for body positivity. You do you, girl. If you feel confident, that's fine.
But can you fucking imagine one of us coming in to hang out with Anthony and you
rude.
in a fucking see-through and a thong? That's like gross.
Even if it wasn't
weird.
My boyfriend, it's rude.
It's so
if
fucking
you have
rude.
Anybody over for you to come out like that. Like that is like. That is rude to your guests.
Yes.
What the fuck are you doing?
It's so awkward.
So inappropriate. Ugh. Oh God! Now I just like you said. Would you imagine like going to Anthony and like?
Oh,
it's the worst.
You know what? I have to say, if we were at my house and one of you guys came out like that, I think I would be more confused than anything. I'm like not even mad. I'm just like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like
what's going on? Do you know that you can see through that?
Is something happening in your brain that we need to have checked out right now?
I'd
be worried about you.
Literally, like insane. So she says, I still had 6 more months in this lease with her, and I did everything I could to avoid her. She came on to my boyfriend several times if I was in the shower or if he was waiting for me to get back. He didn't even want to be around her at all either.
Yeah, that's...
You gotta start going to his place, man.
Yeah, why aren't we going to your place?
Yeah, when the lease was ending, I told her I think it would be best if she moved out, and she lost her shit.
Yeah, she seems like it.
Yeah. I was at work when she moved out. She took with her all of my face wash and moisturizers. She ripped the pictures we had of the two of us in half.
Oh my God.
That's a single white female shit.
Listen.
And she knocked all the houseplants off the windowsill so they were laying all over the floor.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
But
that's fucking some juvenile shit right there.
She left her entire purse, wallet, cell phone, and car keys.
She did all that shit and then had to come back and be like, "Oh, sorry, I need to. Would you mind if I just?"
That's what she said. She said she had to do the walk of shame, knocking on my door to ask for it back. I went and grabbed her bag and handed it to her. She texted me afterwards saying, "You do you, sweetheart. At least I tried."
Get the fuck
You know
out
what?
of here,
I would have made
dumb
her
bitch.
come inside. I would have left the plant.
I wouldn't answer the door.
My petty ass, I would have left those fucking plants there and been like, "While you're here,
Yeah.
you want to go ahead and pick this shit up?"
I wouldn't answer the door. I'd be like,
"You got leverage. You got leverage. You're
I
gonna
know.
hold that shit
You got
hostage."
Literally But she
Just saying, I'm petty.
I am too. I am petty.
I know. But that fucking oh my God, that made my blood boil. Like
That's
all that, her doing her stuff and bringing strange guys home, it's very inconsiderate and it's very unsafe.
It's unsafe.
Yeah.
That's
it's unsafe
where
for
it would
her
get,
and it's unsafe for
it's
her
unsafe
roommate.
for her roommate. Like if you want to put yourself in danger, I mean, don't. But like
You do
that's you. Like,
Exactly.
you know, and you suffer those consequences on your own.
But
don't bring unsafe people into my fucking house in
then,
my life.
But then you start fucking traipsing around half naked in front of my fucking boyfriend.
No.
Nah.
We got
well,
words.
and the
We got
moving
words.
out
We got
stuff,
words.
the moving out stuff is petty AF. Like,
Yeah.
honestly. And I always wonder about people like this. I'm just like, how are you? It boggles my mind that people exist like this who are this unaware of themselves. Like they clearly are not like self-aware in any way, and it's bizarre to me. Super weird. Okay. All right, I've got a long one. This one came from our website.
Yes.
So a reminder that you guys can submit stories there.
myworstdatepodcast.com.
Yes. Okay. So it says, "Hi, ladies. First off, I just want to say how much I love your podcast.
Yay!
I discovered it a couple weeks ago." That was the most like in sync yay I've ever.
Yeah.
Yay.
They were like 1, 2, 3,
And
yay.
wrap it up. I discovered it a couple weeks ago on a Twitter thread and have been binging it ever since.
Yay.
When I listen to you ladies, it feels like I'm sitting down with the gals and having a gossip session because as I'm listening, I'll wildly gasp or laugh or exclaim, "What the fuck?" And yes, this warrants odd looks when I'm in public.
I love it.
Good, exactly.
I love what you three have created and the safe space you have provided for men and women.
Aw.
I've even gotten my most recent Tinder boy hooked onto the podcast.
Yay! That's a good sign. That
Yes.
really is.
Yeah.
I think it's a good sign.
Educate him.
Those who listen
Yeah.
to podcasts together stay together? Is that
Yeah.
what
Especially dating ones where it's just like,
Yeah.
listen, I'm going to train you.
Yes.
Educate yourself.
Don't end up on this podcast.
Like I will write a story about you if you fuck up.
You best come
Fair
correct.
warning. Exactly.
After listening to so many stories, I started to think about all the dates I've had and if anything was worthy of being on the pod. And then I remembered Mama's boy. So she said Mama, which means she's I think she's Australian, but
This is amazing.
yes.
I am so excited.
The name appointed to him by my friends and I after a failed first date.
Oh, no.
Okay. She sets the scene a little bit. She was new to dating. She was in a 2-year relationship from the time she was 17 to 19 that was toxic. So she was kind of exploring the dating world and kind of new to it at this point.
Okay.
She says, I matched with this guy on Tinder. After a month of trying to organize a date, we had conflicting schedules. We were finally going to meet on a Monday night. This was decided Sunday morning. So we agreed to Monday night, but he hasn't given me the details of what we are doing and what time.
So fucking annoying.
I know.
I get
don't like
so
that.
fucking annoyed by people that cannot make a fucking plan.
Yeah.
Prepare to
can't
get pissed. man.
Not handle that.
Yeah.
I am so scheduled. And Keegs, you're like that too.
Oh, yeah.
Cassie,
Oh,
you
yeah.
too. It's like, okay, you
Also,
want
I have a life. You're not my fucking life.
You are not
motherfucker.
my fucking life. I am not going to go with the flow and maybe like hang out with you.
Yeah, just
The
because
amount of
you have
things-
nothing else to fucking do.
Exactly.
Like, I know that-
Exactly.
Reading this paragraph, I was like, all right, Christina's
I'm
going to
we
get
got some
mad.
trigger words
heated
here.
She gonna get mad
already.
at this.
And it's because these fucking people that exist in my fucking phone cannot even handle the small task of saying, let's go here at 7:00. Do you know if somebody fucking did that?
You're like, I might marry him.
Zero fucking people in a year and a half have made that fucking sentence happen. And that would blow my fucking brains out.
I love that you're this riled up in the
I am
first
this-
sentence of this paragraph because you are about to be
On fire.
so mad.
fiery hot with anger right now.
You are about to be so mad. So we agreed to Monday night, but he hasn't given me details of what we are doing and what time. He asked, so he was in charge of what we do.
Right.
Sunday rolls into Monday, and I still haven't been told what we're doing.
Oh
I
my
text
God.
him.
We're not doing shit.
him in the morning, asking if we're still on for that night. He replies with, "Of course," which, of course, bitch. You haven't said anything to me. Why should I assume?
Oh, God, I fucking hate him.
I text him back saying, cool, so what time should I meet you? This was around lunchtime. Now, as someone who prides themselves in their appearance and making a good first impression, I take a long time to get ready for a date and need to mentally and physically prepare.
Girl,
fucking
same.
Same.
I
to go anywhere, really. I'm just like,
I think any woman. You're
budget
spicy.
I budget myself like a good couple hours.
Well, also, you want to know in your head, what am I preparing for?
Exactly.
Are we going on a fucking?
Do I need to put on a full face, or are we going on a hike?
Yeah, exactly. I need to know.
This is important,
Right. Because if I put a full face on for a fucking hike, somebody's getting hurt.
We're not going on a hike anymore.
No.
I wasted good makeup on this.
No.
We're going out now.
That's why we went out last
Yeah,
night.
I was
It's
like,
because
no,
both of you and I put it on a face, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, we're going out.
Also because this is something I can relate to super hard. She says, I also catch public transport, so need extra travel time and time to plan it. I get that. I used to take the bus everywhere.
Yeah,
like
that takes
you're
serious planning.
beholden to a certain schedule.
Absolutely.
You have to like... Mm-hmm. So it gets to 3 p.m., still no word. 4:30 p.m., nothing. So I text him again saying, hey, so I kind of need to know what we're doing and what time to meet you, as I'd normally start getting ready now or even earlier. I get a text back at 5 p.m. Sorry, I was driving back from the Sunshine Coast, so I think they are in Australia. And Jesus, how long do you need to get ready?
Okay, motherfucker.
Okay.
Throw hands.
None of your fucking business how long it takes me to get ready. Make a fucking plan and step. Oh my God. Oh,
She's about to leave. I wish you took off the headphones.
Fucking table. Oh my God.
She said, I was...
That's so fucking
It's
rude.
And she says, I was slightly offended at this, but he is a guy and they generally don't have the prep the way that women do. So I chalk the comment down to him just being unaware and explain why I take so long to get ready. It's 6 p.m. and he still hasn't replied. So I message him again saying, hey, so it's pretty late now. And by the time I get ready, it'll be close to 8. Can we reschedule? I then get a text back immediately. So he had not texted her back for hours. And then when she texted this, all of a sudden you're on your phone saying, you don't need to put makeup on or get dressed up. I politely say, thank you, but I like to put effort into my appearance, especially for a first date. And he says, so I can't see you because you don't have makeup on? Now, he is an incredibly dry texter. There's no emotion or emojis in his text, and they're so hard to read. But I took this comment to heart and was incredibly annoyed. Maybe an overreaction, but there had been a few comments he'd made in the past similar to this. I once sent a cute lingerie pic and got the reply I got was, and how many other guys did you send this to?
Okay, motherfucker. Okay. Here we go.
None of your goddamn business. Do you like it or not?
Do you like it or not? I didn't have to send it to you. You could. Oh my God!
Please immediately delete. That wasn't for you.
Yeah. No,
that's
that wasn't for you.
That's my response. Oh shit! I'm sorry. That wasn't for you.
Throw the whole guy away.
Throw the whole man away. Trash. And I was annoyed, so I typed out a paragraph saying that yes, he was correct, and that I will not apologize for liking makeup and making myself look nice because fuck a guy who says you don't need makeup. True, but I want it, so I will wear it. Thank you.
Oh, I'm putting you on a pedestal.
That's me
girl.
too.
That is
for
exactly.
president.
I don't fucking wear makeup for men. I wear makeup because I fucking like to
like,
wear makeup.
I fucking know.
That's exactly right.
It's
100%.
therapeutic for me to like sit down and do my makeup.
Also,
I enjoy it.
I just like the way I look.
And I like the way that I look. It makes me feel good. Who cares?
Why can't guys get to the understanding that when a woman looks good, she feels good? Therefore, you're more likely to get fucking laid.
So fucking encourage her to do what the fuck she wants to
Whatever
do that makes
you feel
her
good.
happy and that makes her feel good about herself.
Yeah.
You
boys will
fucking
learn sometime, I guess. Maybe.
Trash piece of shit human.
This is a long story, and I love that you're this mad already.
I'm so angry.
He then replies saying that I need to calm down.
Oh.
And he was just joking, and that I was getting worked up at him for no reason. The calm down line.
In our Facebook, fucking calming down.
In our Facebook group, do you remember that video I posted that was just like actual footage of a man telling a woman he needs to calm down in an argument, and he like put gas on a fire and it like blew up in his face. I'm like,
exactly.
Yep, that's her. Yeah,
that's right.
Don't tell me how to feel. Don't tell me. Oh,
I hate calm down.
I'm sorry, but how in the fuck is that a joke? Good God. Anyway, this makes me feel horrible because I'm a people pleaser. Hi, Keegan, she says in parentheses. Hi. And don't like it when I've offended someone or misunderstood them. I apologize and explain I reacted that way because I couldn't read the tone of the text and it was incredibly dry. He sent a message back apologizing, but it said, I'm sorry you felt that way.
Okay.
That's not an apology.
a fucking apology ever.
Okay.
Me being the idiot, red flag, annoying pushover I am. I rescheduled a date with him for Tuesday night. I sent a text before I go to bed asking what we will do and what time. Sound familiar? And in the morning, I get a reply saying, I don't care what we do as long as I'm with you.
Barf.
Cute, but I need to know what the fuck we are doing, which
Literally
is what
put
I say to him.
2 fucking seconds of effort. You know what? You get this fucking phone that you matched on. You have an app called Tinder. I want you to go and download an app called Yelp, and then you just fucking open it.
Literally search your area.
Literally just put bar, and the first one that comes up, you screenshot, send with a time.
7 p.m.
It
done.
takes
You're literally done.
literally less than a minute.
I mean, how often do we make last minute plans? How often? If you can do that with your fucking friends, you can do that with a date.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, this like you're masking this indecisiveness and cuteness. Like you think that you're gonna get away with like being cute.
Yeah.
No,
I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
I'm now learning that this indecisiveness is a fucking deal breaker for me.
It is.
Oh, God.
It's a deal breaker for me too.
Literally
I'm like,
last night-
if I invite you someplace, I'm gonna say, I would like to hang out and have dinner with you at this place at 7 p.m.
Does that sound
that's
good?
That's
Does
how
that work for
I
you?
invite.
And then there's a reciprocation. Yeah,
Exactly.
Totally works. Or hey, can we meet at 6 instead? Or a whatever. That's how this works.
That's
how
how
this
this
works.
works.
Right, or I'd rather
Literally.
go to this place. Is that okay with you? Like
Not-
any of that. Like that's all fine. A conversation is fine, but like give me something.
Yeah.
Start with something.
Yeah, literally, like whenever I've been like asked out on like these apps, it's always like, you want to hang out Tuesday night?
When? Where? What are we doing?
Pertinent fucking information, please. Like any of that
The
would be
bare
great.
minimum that what is required on an Evite is what I want from you.
Yes.
If there's an asterisk next to it on your Evite invitation, meaning location and time, that's what I need from you, sir.
Because this fucking swipe culture has made it so much that it's like literally the barest amount of effort.
It's literally you up, you free.
Yeah, exactly. That it's just like trained people, I guess. Some people, some pieces of shit that they don't have to put in even the barest amount of effort. And that's rude. And it's really
It's super rude.
Yeah.
So she says, I'm a university student and had uni that day, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., which he knew. It's 9 a.m. and he still hasn't told me what we are doing, but I get ready under the assumption he will eventually tell me. So I do my makeup, wear a cute outfit, and head to uni. Now, this is where the story gets good. So if you're spicy already, I get a message from him at 1:30 p.m. saying, so I made a whoopsie, which red flag. Fucking a grown man who uses the word whoopsie, we're out of here.
Fuck
Nope.
off.
And who unironically uses that word. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. And I reply with, please don't tell me you're busy. Now, this next message, I had to read it twice to make sure I wasn't misinterpreting it. And remember that we are going on our first date. We haven't even met yet. So this message says, my mom is in town and I thought she was leaving today. She's actually leaving tomorrow and we're having dinner tonight. Would you like to join us?
Do you think that's like... Do you think he's just being
but they
polite?
they had plans the night previous.
Before. Yes.
So what?
Yes.
Yeah.
What? Well, and also, like, a deal breaker for me, not only is he indecisive, like, you forgot what day your mom was leaving town?
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
So
what?
weird.
Sir.
It sounds to me like somebody who just doesn't have any cares about anybody but himself.
Yeah.
Very, very, very
She says,
narcissistic.
a first
behavior.
date with
your
his
mom.
mother.
No.
His mother on our first date. I love that she wrote it that many times.
No.
What the fuck? I'm sitting in my lecture wondering whether to laugh or cry or scream. Do I say no? Do I say fuck no?
Yeah.
Or do I, and this is crazy, say yes? My instinct is to say no. Hell no. This is a first date and meeting his mother is so inappropriate.
Right.
I'll be asking questions trying to get to know him and she'll be asking me questions trying to get to know me. Questions he won't even know the answer to. And imagine how awkward she would feel. The
How
best
much
course...
do I want to put him in that situation, though?
It's just, oh God.
Just knowing
Why-
this is going nowhere and be like,
but he just seems
"Motherfucker, I got you."
so fucking clueless.
He's
that I don't
clueless.
think that he would pick up
No.
on the
subtleties of
subtlety or the weirdness of it. He would
Right.
just be like, "Yeah, it's my mom. She's cool. This is some chick that I
so
might
we're gonna
bang.
go get some
I
pizza.
matched with.
Yeah,
The best, she sent me a lingerie pic. Do you want to see it? The best course of action is to politely decline and never speak to him again.
Right.
But part of me thinks maybe I should do it. He's insanely gorgeous and hot, like catfish level of attractive.
Oh, yeah.
And hey,
we've all been
We've
there.
all been there. Mm-hmm. And hey, it would make for a good story, right? Clearly.
Thank you.
So, yeah, thank you so much for sacrificing yourself for the sake of the podcast. So, I ask my friend next to me and text 2 other best friends for their opinion. One says he'll stop being my friend if I go.
That's amazing.
That's a good friend. One says go for it, and the other says what the fuck. We have a 10-minute break in the lecture, and I sit there continuing to stare at the text, wishing it would dissolve and would just be the details of our first date without his mother. I start to eavesdrop on the conversation between 2 girls on my right. They're reading their horoscopes, and I'm a massive astrology fan, and start to listen intently. When they're done, I politely ask, hey, would you mind reading mine? It's Virgo.
That's awesome.
And they happily, I love that this is the decision maker here. They happily oblige. Oh, good Lord, why did I have to ask them? So the girl starts to read my horoscope, and I shit you not, this is what it says. You are faced with a difficult choice, an opportunity that you would normally run from, but today you need to say yes. Take the opportunity, as it will teach you valuable lessons and put you out of your comfort zone for your own benefit. Don't run from it. I'm literally shrinking into my seat in laughter and tears and regale the 2 girls with my first date dilemma. Well, the stars are telling me to go for it, and in a moment of impulse, I say, sure, it's a weird first date, but let's do it. What the fuck have I done?
No.
He replies with, fantastic. And surprise, surprise, no details are provided still. It gets so much worse from here.
It gets so much
worse. I text him at 3:30 p.m. asking him for details, and he knows I finished uni at 6. It gets to 4:30 and still nothing. And I learned from my tutorial that my tutorial will be finishing early, so I text him that I need to know where to meet them by 5:30. It's 5:20 and still nothing. At this point, I'm feeling so fucked around. For days, I've been asking for a time and place. I spent an hour on my makeup and at least half an hour trying on different outfits that morning. Only for him to not even respond and organize anything. So simple.
That's what gets me more. That gets me even more than the not scheduling. Is that she actually she wasn't just sitting there seething about not receiving details. She asked him explicitly several times, and he's choosing to fucking ignore. Mm-hmm. And this is just like, you know what, motherfucker? I see you posting on goddamn Twitter.
Right.
I
You're
see you fucking,
here.
you clearly, I've sent you 3 texts, and I fucking see you posting bullshit about Star Wars on Twitter. So go fuck yourself and answer my goddamn
Sounds like
text.
a personal situation.
I'm just saying.
Sounds very, very, very specific.
Very specific.
Very specific.
But no, I mean, like, listen, 90% of us are tied to our phones. The only time you don't respond is if you're, for me, if you're in the shower, if you're driving, or if you're sleeping. Like, those are the only times you're not responding. Mm-hmm. So to me, I'm just like, if it's been hours, you've had time to look at it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
you know,
And you're
even if you took a nap midday,
so rude.
you've woken up by now.
Rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
Another guy I'd been on one date with who was absolutely amazing had messaged me earlier asking if I was free. I thought, well, I'm already dressed up. And
do it,
cute,
girl.
so
Yes. That's what your horoscope was telling you to do.
Yes.
Go out with that guy, please. Fingers crossed. That's what she did.
So I might as well not let the effort go to waste and say yes to this guy. I messaged the original guy, Mama's boy, saying, hey, I'm just going to go home. We'll organize something another time. No, we won't. I get a reply immediately. Once again. So he was looking at his fucking phone saying,
ass.
Damn. I hope you have a nice night then. So you kept me on the line all day for something that you didn't even care that much about, clearly.
And he honestly didn't want to invite her in the first place. You know that.
Unmatch and block. Mm-hmm. Unmatch and block.
I say, well, what did you expect when you haven't even told me a time or where to meet you? I'm feeling so fucked over and like you completely wasted my time. He says, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm a spontaneous person, so I usually decide in the moment. I'm going to flip this fucking table.
I'm going to flip this fucking guy.
I hate people like this.
I know. Chuck him.
I say, I understand that, but at least tell me a place and time and we can then decide together from there. I'm incredibly upset over this. Again, I shit you not. This is his response. Why don't you give me your address so I can come over with ice cream and a hug and make you feel better?
Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Wow.
Dude, I really don't understand.
For you.
I've matched with Dude Face. Medic is exactly this guy.
Yep.
Yes.
He is this guy to a fucking T.
You know who I was thinking of?
Cannot think of
Stabler?
Yeah,
Fucking breadcrumber?
I was thinking
Breadcrumber. Yeah. And can't understand like why it's so disrespectful and why it's so rude. And I don't think he listens or whatever, but if he does, let this be a lesson.
Yeah,
this isn't just
rude.
a me thing where I think this is rude. This is legitimately rude to do to any human, not just somebody that you're trying to date.
I mean, especially
it's rude.
I consider
rude.
myself an extrovert.
Yeah.
I consider myself an extrovert. I like to go out. I like to be around people.
Same.
However, I need time to prepare myself for that. I need you to tell me at the start of the day or the night before that we're doing something the next day. Because otherwise, while I'm at work all day, all I'm thinking about is when I get home, I'm taking these jeans off, I'm putting on pajamas, and I'm settling in to watch fucking 48 Hours.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing. If you text me after I'm already home, bra off in PJs, expecting me to go out with you, that shit is not happening.
No.
And also, like, if you text throughout, like, the day of thinking that you have plans and you're just being completely ignored, it's a terrible
it's
fucking
awful.
feeling.
Oh, no. I would have
awful.
canceled this much earlier than she did.
Oh, yeah.
So she says, what the fuck? He fucks me around for days and now wants to buy me ice cream and apologize? I get to my date with the second guy and decide to reply to Mama's boy in the morning. No way I was inviting him over and I was too upset to reply to him anyway. So it's the next morning and I receive a massive text from him that roughly goes, guess I blew my chance, ... I'm so sorry that you felt fucked over. I hope you meet a guy who treats you like like the princess you are, because out of everyone else, you deserve it the most, XXX.
Get the fuck out of
This
here.
fucking guy. This message just pisses me off even more. I don't want to be treated like a princess. I want someone who can give me the courtesy of a time and place for a date.
Just treat me like a human.
Preach.
Also,
preach,
he
preach.
is used to not replying the same day, so he clearly did this for attention.
Yeah.
I decide to text him back saying, I didn't reply because I was incredibly upset and didn't want to talk to you. I was looking forward to meeting you. Why? Present, I don't know if she wants me to use her name. Present person is confused why past person was so dumb. And you wasted my time. Being honest, I'm not keen on making plans with you again out of fear that this will happen again. His message back was, I guess we have two choices. Try again and do all the work, or we forget it. And oh God, this message pissed me off even more. Not only did he make me feel guilty that he would have to do, quote, all the work, but organizing a date isn't work. It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
It's not work. I decided to not reply, and that was the last I heard from him until yesterday.
What?
Oh, zombie.
Our conversations back then, 2 to 3 months
And
ago,
then everybody turned us off.
they're like, ooh, yikes. Our conversations back then, 2 to 3 months ago, were over text, and last night I got a DM from him on Instagram saying, hey.
Just, hey.
Hey means I have a boner.
Yeah.
And I'm alone.
A bonar looking at your pictures on Instagram.
Remember that lingerie photo you sent?
I've been pulling it up.
Hey.
I have it saved as a favorite.
Oh my God. Someday aliens are going to come down and they're going to look at all the literature that human beings have created throughout the ages. And it's going to be Shakespeare and Bronte and Dickinson and Faulkner
and Brad.
Hemingway.
And then this
Chad.
fucking guy. Hey. Beautiful, simple, complete.
I know. Encapsulates the entire human existence.
I feel like we're doing like an ad for like a fragrance. Compelling.
Hey, by Marc Jacobs.
Oh my God, I want to buy that perfume so bad. Hey. Oh, You Up by Calvin Klein.
Yeah. Hey, Britney Spears' latest perfume.
Hey.
And she says, I haven't.
That's the name of this episode. I'm just going to name it Hey. And it's not even going to be fucking capitalized.
Just, hey. We lost Keegan.
I'm under the table.
Oh my God.
She says she hasn't replied and doesn't plan to. Phew, what a ride. Thank you so much, ladies, and hope you enjoyed at my expense. Definitely still learning not to tolerate problematic men, but I'm getting there.
Same, girl, same. I fucking love you. Thank you for writing that
That
in.
was a long story, but we had a lot to talk about there, man.
It was
amazing. A lot to discuss. Wow.
I felt that in my bones.
In my heart. In my heart.
I needed that.
Oh, man.
That's
a good
like
one.
That's like one of those fucking memes that's like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but and I fucking
That
needed
story
to
is-
hear that story.
I don't know who needed to hear this. You're like, I
Exactly.
do.
I do.
It's me.
Me. Raise hands.
Yeah, got it.
Hey.
Oh, it's so funny.
Oh my God.
God damn. This is going to be a long episode because we got a bunch of long stories
Oh,
today.
fuck it, dude.
I like it.
Yeah, well, I'll trim up.
Well, you'll trim up.
We got a
little
some
bit trimming.
trims because I think this one's gonna be really funny.
And
Yeah.
people
No, I
like
do
long
too.
episodes, too.
They
Yeah.
do. I do anyway. All right, guys. So here's the dealio. I did a story a couple episodes back about the MLM, right?
Yes.
Oh my God. Fucking hilarious story. And what I meant to do at the time was give a shout out to who wrote that. And it was by this girl who has a blog called The Single Society. And because I didn't give a shout out, I was like, I actually went onto the website and I was like, singlesociety.com. And I was like, it's got like, she has so many fucking brilliant, great stories. The way she writes is incredibly intriguing and like keeps you going. And so I reached out to her again. I was like, your stories are so much fun. Is there a story that you love a lot? I would love to reshare a story from your blog site, from your website. And, I didn't give you the proper shout out you deserve. But she didn't have one specific. So I just went through and I picked one that I thought was kind of funny, and I'm going to share it.
Okay.
But I highly recommend everybody. I mean, if you like our podcast, you will love her website because it is chock full of great writing and hilarious stories. So I know that you will enjoy your time over there.
Awesome.
So let's start with this story from her site. It is called The Not So Fly Guy.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Yeah, here we go. So she says, I showed up to a cozy Williamsburg cafe. Williamsburg,
Pennsylvania?
No. That's why I was clarifying. I believe she's from New York, so this is Brooklyn.
So it's not colonial Williamsburg.
No, which is also, by the way, in Virginia.
Oh, whatever.
She's like,
Hey,
same
I'm
thing,
not.
Listen, old school white people were not creative. There are so many Springfields and like Williamsburgs, and there's just too many towns of the same name.
Totally. So I showed up to a cozy Williamsburg cafe for a date after I reluctantly agreed to meet Garrett, a self-proclaimed serial entrepreneur who I knew was probably going to be a total douche.
Can we
from
add
the
Garrett
start.
to the list of potential douchey names?
I know Garrett.
Oh my God, I want to rename my cat Garrett immediately.
Garrett's are very different from Chad's.
Dude, I had
very
Yes,
different.
they are.
But you
They
fucking
are.
know who
You
Garrett
know,
is.
a couple
Douche.
of
That's what he said. She said.
the last Bachelorette, not the current one, but Becca, she got with a Garrett, and that guy is like wet fucking toast. I hate that dude.
Wet toast.
Wet croutons.
Awful. Wet soggy croutons.
Soggy croutons.
Yes, yes, and he's such a Garrett.
And
Like,
they're
I'm
so
you're
like
such a fucking
mansplaining,
Garrett.
where they're like,
Garrett
You know
is a
what?
mansplainer.
You know what this Garrett did? The Garrett from Becca's season of The Bachelorette. He had a failed marriage that only lasted like a year or something, and talked about her
I bet
constantly.
she was crazy.
Yes,
All her
talked about her
fault.
constantly, and never took him and his whole family never took any responsibility for anything. Widow Garrett probably did to contribute to the divorce.
Absolutely.
And constantly on national television talked about how she was the worst, and she did all
I
these
need
things
to hear
that
from her.
Yeah.
destroyed their
Ex-wife
marriage.
of Garrett,
Right
Bullet
in.
hit
Let
us
us know.
bullet dodged.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
Hit us
Becca,
up. I wanna
get
hear
the
this
fuck
story.
out. He was also racist, but that's neither here nor there. Continue.
Okay. On that note, okay. So she said, who I knew was probably going to be a total douche from the start, but it was Friday night and I pathetically had nothing else on the agenda.
No, it happens.
It happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, you know what? Fuck it. It's Friday.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
Well, I think we might find out.
Oh.
I don't know. I was the first at the scene, so I ordered a glass of Petit Syrah. Syrah. That's what I said.
Syrah.
Petit Syrah.
I like wine.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am a white girl. Wait. I mean, I am, but I also like white wine is what I meant. anyway, yeah, Petite Syrah, which is a red,
Yes.
and surrendered my American Express to the bartender to open up a tab. Garrett arrived and immediately expressed his remorse for his unpunctuality. So sorry I was late. I had to fly out to Pennsylvania because of one of my rental properties out there had a flood, and I had to do some damage control. I jumped on my plane right after and got here as quickly as I could.
Casually mentions they're better than you. Just
Your plane? You have a plane? She says. Asking about his plane was a huge mistake that I immediately regretted.
well, he mentioned that plane on purpose, so you would ask about it.
He was begging. He was actually like, "Would you please ask me about my plane?"
Yeah,
That's what
if
he
she
pretty much
hadn't,
said.
his head would explode.
Oh yeah.
It literally would sit there and it'd start to shake.
he'd
and his
interrupt-
head would get really big, and then it would fucking explode.
He'd interrupt your next sentence and be like, "I'm sorry, I think you may have I don't think you heard that I had a plane."
So
I said I had a plane.
Plane.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Sure, you don't want to ask about it?
So again, asking about the plane was a huge mistake. He pompously whipped out his cell phone and began showing me his beloved propeller plane as if it was his newborn baby girl. This went on for roughly 25 minutes. He continued on about how all the businesses he had started and his elaborate plan to retire at age 40. He ordered several double shots of tequila on the rocks, and I just finished my first glass of wine.
My bet is on he put this shit on her card.
We then established that we both lived in East Williamsburg. I finally got a word in and said that I lived in a lovely one bedroom and told him the street. Oh, I guess we are neighbors then. My brother and I live in the building 2 blocks over by the same management
Your
company.
brother?
I
You have
know.
a plane and you live with your brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dog-earing that for later.
Okay.
Yep. Saving
That's
that.
interesting.
Saving that.
That's what interests me. Like, so I'm like, did you spend all your money on the plane?
Yeah.
You just like,
He says it's a bit tight right now. We are both living in one bedroom because we are putting all of our money back into our businesses.
and a
She's
plane.
like, but
Do you have a bunk
own
bed?
a plane.
dot, dot.
He goes, yeah, the plane is my baby. I would rather share 600 square feet with my brother than give up my plane. Sir.
I wouldn't.
Oh,
Sir.
priorities.
Sir.
Priorities.
By his third double tequila and only my second glass of wine, his speech was slurring.
3 double tequilas?
Yeah.
So
third.
like 6.
Yeah.
6 drinks. That's
Yeah,
like the equivalent
6
of 6
tequilas.
drinks. Wow.
Yikes,
Wow.
that's a lot of tequila.
And tequila will
Ugh.
ruin your life.
Ugh.
Yeah, tequila. Well,
I
we
love
all
tequila.
know that. I'm
You may or may not have committed homicide on tequila.
correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct. Jury's out.
I mean, we're not sure.
we are not sure.
We're not sure.
Secret.
Speaking of secrets, sorry, real quickly, I just want to share that to fly with Charlie, he had to be at least 10 weeks old, and he is for sure the babiest of babies.
He's probably half that age.
He's 20.
Yeah.
And I for sure was like, when they asked me, I'm like, oh yeah, he's 10 weeks old. He was the runt.
Yeah.
So speaking of lying,
yeah,
I
those
was,
people
I lied
don't
a lot.
care.
And
No.
you're like, challenge me on
I
this.
said, I was like,
take this
prove-
fucking cap.
Prove he's not.
Prove
I
he was
mean,
adopted.
And
He's
anyone,
adopted.
anyone who
Prove
works
he's
at
not.
TSA, unless you're just like that fucking weirdo,
They don't give a
Unless
shit.
you're
They
a
don't care.
fucking monster.
You just care about your job that much.
Also,
like,
Right.
everybody was like enamored because at
He's
the time we
adorable.
were calling him Brad, and so everybody thought that was fucking hilarious.
I think that's so funny.
Brad. I kind of still want him to name Brad. But anyway, moving on. Moving on.
People listening to this episode are
I
like,
know.
wow.
I'm sorry.
Sidebar Nation.
It's National Wine Day.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we gotta
Hey.
stop doing that. Yeah. Okay.
Hey.
By his third double tequila and only my second glass of wine, his speech was slurring and determined it was time to call it a night.
Yeah.
The bartender came over and asked if we would like to put our drinks on the card he was given, to which Garrett eagerly replied, yeah, that works. I get my bill.
Does it work?
I get my bill, and the total comes to $127.62. Jesus Christ, what are you drinking, Cristal?
Dude,
127. If I got a bill for that on a first date, I've paid for a lot of first dates, which I know, like we've talked about it before. It
$127 bill for just
blows your
drinks.
fucking mind. First of all, I have never gone on a first date where I have racked up that kind of bill for a guy. Ever. I would not be comfortable with that. That's not how I roll.
No.
I don't like that. If I was going to drink a fancy liquor or something like that I wanted to drink, I'd put it on my own fucking tab. Cuz I don't fucking know
you don't
that
want to be
person.
beholden to that person.
Exactly. I don't want that guy to be like, I
spent $200
blah, blah,
fucking
blah.
dollars
Like, what
on
are you gonna do for me?
Yeah, I mean, and
I don't owe you shit, motherfucker.
And here's the
Can we
thing.
stop that?
We can't
Can we
stop that.
Can we literally?
I'll pay for my own drinks. I'm fucking fine with that.
But
like
even
a
if you
kibosh
don't,
on that thought process,
even if you don't, it doesn't matter. Like even if they do spend $200 on your dinner and your drinks, you don't get my body just because you spend some fucking money on my dinner.
Because guess what?
Yeah,
I am not a sex worker. Fine if you are, but that you're not paying for me.
Well, no, because if I was a sex worker, we would have gone into this agreement from the get-go,
from the beginning,
and understood where we were.
Both stood on this.
Yeah,
exactly.
you don't
Knowing
get
what the
to make
end
that
outcome
decision,
right?
Oh,
And
my
also,
God.
yeah.
That's
no,
the
it's
thing is
just
that you get to make that decision,
correct.
and I still get to make that decision, even if you spent $200.
But to fucking lay that on somebody, $127
bill,
lay that on a stranger is so uncomfortable, and it's so
rude.
It's so fucking
so rude.
And I think of how much I struggled this past year, like financially, getting things rearranged, being on my own in a city that is expensive.
Yeah.
And if I had gone on a fucking first date that I maybe wasn't kind of feeling.
No, you're Venmoing me for half of that.
And he put $127 on my card. I would have started crying.
Yeah. And I would have definitely told the bartender, I'm sorry, no, we are separate.
Yeah,
That's my card.
you'd have to.
I'd have to. I'd be like,
yeah.
What, am I not going to pay my fucking rent this month? Because I'm
on a bad date?
No. So terrible. Yeah, no.
I'm not chewing my
with
leg
a
off
guy
to get
who's
out of
living
this.
in 600 square feet with his brother.
Sell your fucking plane and pay for your fucking tequila.
Jesus.
Get the fuck out.
Anyway, he says, oh yeah, sorry, I only drink top shelf. Didn't realize I drank so much though. How about I get you next time? No, Garrett, I had 2 glasses of wine that were $12 each.
There's
How
not a
about
next
you
time.
Man up and Venmo me $100 right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He proceeded to offer up the excuse that he didn't have Venmo. Motherfucker. So I suggested...
You download it. I'll do it for you. Give me your phone.
I suggested we run to the ATM next door. I don't keep that kind of money in my account.
This bitch is amazing.
Garrett,
you don't have $100?
You don't have $100 in your account? You
not rich.
Spent an hour telling me about a plane you own and how you are retiring in 5 years.
Oh my God.
I am not rich by any means. I could give you... I'm sorry. She has a meme on her blog. That's amazing. We'll post it on...
So at the bottom of all of her posts, they have these perfect memes. That,
we'll post that on our social media because that's hilarious.
So funny.
But yeah, I'm not rich by any means. I have $100 in my account.
I have $100 in my account.
Are you kidding me?
Jesus.
Move that money from your savings. You don't have a savings account?
Yeah, he got a plane though. So
did she get the money or not?
No, she didn't. She said I kissed that $127 goodbye and wrote him off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Garrett.
Wow.
What a Garrett move.
Garrett move.
I love that fucking blog.
It's so good. And they're like all the stories are so fun and again so super well written. So.
Oh my God.
And, yeah.
Okay,
Single society.
Sorry to all of our listeners for all of those sidebars, but I feel like they were necessary.
No, I'm no longer apologizing for sidebars. I love our sidebar nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you could just go on Reddit. And,
you could read them yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I assume you come here to hang out with me.
I drink wine and I have opinions.
And I know things.
And I will be heard.
I will be heard.
You sound like you're going to cry about it.
You will hear my
opinions.
fucking opinions.
I think it's the cold.
I think it is the cold. It does. It sounds like I'm emotional.
Very upset. You're not emotional. She's not crying, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
not crying.
But I am ready to hear your fucking crazy in love.
Lay this crazy in love on us.
I'm so excited. Okay. So I... first of all, I talked to Cassie earlier this week because there's actually a crazy in love that her and I both are like on the hunt for.
Yeah.
And
I almost did it last week.
It was on Oxygen, or it's not out yet. It's not out yet. June 1st. It's the Murder in the Mansion.
You remember the woman that was found bound by her hands and her legs, hung? And outside of the mansion. Remember the baby?
What?
You don't remember this story?
I remember the story because it's like the fucking kid fell and died.
Inside is what they called it.
The kid died and they called this fucking chick a suicide. even though she was bound by her hands and her feet, found hanging from the railing. And they were like,
that
it's a
sounds
suicide.
vaguely familiar.
Hands behind her back.
It's on Oxygen. This documentary on it. It's called Murder at the Mansion, and it's got Jensen in holes.
Ooh.
Proceed.
Yes. So both Cassie and I have like put it on our list of like crazy and loves. Like, we got to do this
It's
one.
weird, though,
but
because
I
the
wanted to
whole-
wait because apparently there's new evidence that they're going to show.
Which is why I wanted to wait too, because I was like, also too, it's like, I wonder if it is a crazy in love, because the boyfriend was, I think, at the hospital during the time. So it's the brother who they suspect.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know.
It's layers.
Yeah, there's layers. But I can't wait to see this.
But everybody fucking mark your calendars because this looks like the best documentary ever.
I'm excited.
And it's on Oxygen, which we love.
And I have.
Yes.
Because
yes.
ID is not part of my cable package, but Oxygen is. So I'm
telling you,
down.
you can download the
I know.
You can watch it on your phone.
I know.
Or you can
Go without.
or not.
Anyways, so I was going on deep dives this week, and I was like searching like murders with crazy twists and like all kinds of stuff, and it was like murders that may not be murders. And I landed on the possible murder of boxing legend Arturo Gatti. So
Yes. I know this story.
deep fucking dive on this. I've read so many articles and stuff this week. This morning, I woke up and treated myself to a nice cup of coffee and a 48 hours mystery.
Nice.
And it was beautiful.
Beautiful.
So let me tell you
Italian
this story.
kisses.
Arturo Gatti was born in 1972, and he was an Italian-Canadian professional boxer who competed from 1991 to
Hold
2007.
on. I'm sorry. Time out. Not related to the mob Gottis.
Not related to the mob
Okay.
Gotti, spelled
Making
different.
sure. Okay.
It's Gatti, not Go.
Okay.
So yeah, different. He was nicknamed Thunder, and he was known for his heart and bravery in the ring. And he also carried formidable punching power. Like, a lot of people compared him to Rocky Marciano. Like, you could just like beat the fuck out of his face and he wouldn't go down. Like, he was like had this real Rocky kind of persona.
Maybe
where he
it's
had
the
heart.
wine, but I'm like, I dig that.
I dig it too.
'Cause
Here's
usually
a
I'm like,
picture. Here's a picture of him.
Okay. Good
Oh my God, he
eyebrows.
looks like Rocky a little bit.
Good
Yeah.
A little
eyebrows.
bit, yeah. Where, I mean, he was just like, people just like loved him. He had this underdog kind of persona, even though he wasn't an underdog. He had a very winning record.
Yeah.
But just like people
Gravitated
really gravitated toward him. He was a champion like 3 times in like welterweight, but he wasn't like a Floyd Mayweather or like he wasn't like one of those people that was going to be a legend. He was never going to be a fucking legend.
Kind of rode the middle.
But he was just like, you know, like you wanted him to win. So, he ended up actually like his biggest thing was the fact he had 3 fights against Mickey Ward, Irish Mickey Ward, who is the one that Dude Face, Mark Goldberg did that movie about, the fighter.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that wasn't in the movie, but that was like the biggest part of their career was they did 3 fights for HBO, and like they're still like they're on
I
the
feel like I remember all this.
they're on the
did they fight
Boxing
during
Hall
the
of
90s?
Fame. Yeah.
Like
It's
mid to late 90s maybe?
it's huge in that, like, again, they weren't fighting for the title, but they were so well matched that they're considered some of the greatest fights of all times. I think they're like they're on the top 10 list of best fights ever, was because they were just so evenly matched and people went bananas about their fights.
Well, and they're on like, you know, you got an Italian and a
Irish
and an
Mickey
Irish guy,
Ward,
like, fighting each
It's
other.
like people,
they stake their claim.
So, he was born in Italy and he moved to Montreal, Quebec, Canada. He eventually relocated to Jersey City and basically...
I mean, not to be stereotypical, but duh.
You're like, I'm sorry, I've seen the Jersey Shore. I know how this works.
So, basically, like, his career is starting to wind down. I'm going to do this with no notes, by the way.
I like it because it means I can see the fire in your eyes.
I wanted to set it up. So I got, Wikipedia. And like I said, I've read like a lot of articles on CNN and a couple different sports websites, and then watched the 48 Hours. So he meets this girl, Amanda. They're like walking dogs in the neighborhood. It's a total meet cute. She is 20. She's young. She's very pretty.
How old
And
is he at this point?
He's like in his 30s.
Okay.
So he's older. He
Older.
Well, older than her.
Older than
yeah,
her.
Yeah. Not old. I'm not old.
Excuse me. You break out in a cold sweat.
But so yeah, they meet. They have like a lot in common. They end up falling in love. A year after they start dating, he proposes to her and they get married at the Grand Canyon. And it's like super romantic.
Aww.
That's a pretty place to get married.
Yeah.
Good pictures.
I saw the pictures. It's kind of cute, but it's also kind of cheesy.
Oh.
But like it's cute, and maybe I think it's cheesy because I'm somewhere in between like you and Cassie with where I fall in love. Where I'm like, oh, that's like V romantic.
Gross.
But she has actually, when they meet, she doesn't know anything about fucking boxing. She doesn't know he's a fighter. She doesn't know he's like anybody, but ends up seeing his very last fight. His very last fight, he ends up losing, and he's really upset. And he's like, baby, I wanted you to marry a champion. And she's like, no, like, it's fine. Like, you're a champion. Also, he's got $6 million estate. He's fine.
Yeah, you're a
She's
champion
like,
in my
you're
book,
a champion. Let's be done with this stuff. Because meanwhile, like, he's had over 40 professional fights.
How many concussions is that?
That's a lot.
What's the math on that?
How jello is your brain?
Right.
Yeah, that's
Let's
enough.
talk about CT motherfucking E.
Yeah, take what's left of your brain
left.
and just go on vacation.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're done.
You can retire now.
We can be done.
Yeah.
$6 million is enough. You don't think I can have a great fucking life with $6 million and you don't have to fucking continue to get your face pounded in?
Yeah, I'm good.
Be done. It's fine. But he could not retire. He had this kind of party boy lifestyle where he like drank and did drugs and that kind of thing and like had fun, but continued to get punched in the face, punched in the head, and then retired, didn't have anything else to do, didn't have to train, didn't have to fucking do anything but party. And he had a real Jekyll fucking Hyde personality. And let me tell you, like, we all change when we drink, right? We all change. Yeah. Sometimes, and we've talked, I'm like, tequila makes me murder. And like, whiskey makes me like chill. Wine makes me opinionated. I'm like, we all know what we are when we drink. We all have a little bit of that Jekyll and Hyde. But what I really don't have is violent, like
tendencies.
Violent. Like, I will not throw things at you. I will not be physically abusive to you. But
thank God.
That is what he had.
Well, and certain people, depending on the alcohol and depending on whether or not, no, you pour that wine. It's National Wine Day.
Get it.
Depending on the alcohol and depending like on how blackout you are, I feel like people can get there and not realize they're getting there. You know, because
that's so funny because my dad was an alcoholic and he would not drink hard liquor. He's like, he's basically like Hulk mentality, like, you wouldn't like me on hard liquor, you know? And I'm like, I don't even like you on beer. So
I probably wouldn't.
Sir, yeah.
And
how much worse can it get?
Like, well, and if I get blackout drunk, what's happening is like I'm falling asleep with a hamburger in my hand. It's not like it's not. I'm forgetting to take my makeup off and like getting red lipstick all over my pillow. That's what's happening. It's not like I'm gonna punch somebody and forget
waking up with the Tammy Faye pillow.
You're like, I can see my eyelashes and my full lips.
You're like, oh my God, why is my pillow the shroud
I have
of
to tell you,
Turin?
that's always and that's always what I tell Anthony. I'm like, if I go to sleep without, because I usually, have you seen that meme that's like, if you got yourself a girl who takes her makeup off when she's blackout drunk, that she's capable of murder.
She is.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean? Because
literally.
Yes, if I leave my makeup on, you know that I was
done.
Beyond. You guys saw me at Amy's bachelorette party. I still took my fucking makeup off.
Yeah, same.
I took my makeup off.
Holy shit. I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that because you were
fucked. Fucked up. More fucked up than I ever get.
Also, too, did you realize that Amy's Bachelor, we were we were on Vanderpump Rules.
Of course
I
we
know,
were, because we were
which is
badass
the
bitches.
worst, the
I still haven't seen it.
the worst possible me that could be on TV.
Yeah, well, there you go. We're
It is what it
famous.
is. Now we know.
Famous.
Anyway,
So, anyways,
he gets aggressive.
Their fucking relationship is tumultuous, but even still, like, she gets pregnant. She has a son. Finally, it's his first son. He has a daughter from a previous relationship that he loves and everything like that, but he always wanted a son.
But it doesn't matter because she's a lady.
Exactly.
I hate that shit where they're like, but my first son.
Exactly.
I'm like, I
It
don't
was like
give a fuck.
It was like a big deal. He had Arthur Jr. and he was very excited. However, like they were the deep dive that I did. Here's the thing. He was shitty with her, but I also found text records of some of the shit
Receipts
that she said to him. I found the receipts.
What did we just say about people being like their worst selves when they're together?
Correct.
Like some people don't need to be together.
Some people don't need to be together. And listen, like this bothers me too. I don't like people that get violent or snarky when they're fucking drunk. I also don't like it when someone says, you're a fucking loser in and out of the ring.
Ooh.
Like, what else did she say?
Because what she did
she
was
said,
she found his insecurity.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
she fucking just
poked it.
twisted
it.
that knife.
Not that she deserved
No.
violence.
No.
That's not
But-
what I'm saying either. But I'm just also saying, like, she was fucking telling him shit like, nobody wants your fucked up life. You're a fucking loser. And honestly, like,
And if the person you love is
Fine.
saying that to you,
exactly. This is a really toxic situation.
Right.
And like, their friends that have talked have just been like, you know, they were not good together.
Right.
They were not good together. And he was in trouble with drink and drugs, and she was not helping. She may have thought that she was helping by denigrating him and being like, get your shit
This is
together.
why.
You're a fucking loser.
This is what therapy's for,
But-
guys.
but listen,
That
I don't
is
respond
not-
to that.
I don't
Some
respond-
people respond to negative reinforcement. I do not
No.
respond to
No, I do
negative
not either.
reinforcement at all.
Yeah,
Like,
if you tell me if you were like, you know, you're exhausting, or like or say something like negative, like I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah. Lives forever.
It lives forever for me, and that's not good. So, anyways, he wants to try to make it work, apparently, because of his son.
Mm-hmm.
So he books them this crazy elaborate trip, 2 weeks in Europe and then a week in Brazil
Ooh.
to do like a family graduation thing in Brazil. So they're going, she calls it like a second honeymoon kind of thing. And apparently it's amazing. She says it's like amazing. Some of his friends have like voice messages from him where he's like, this is a fucking nightmare. Literally, it's his voice. He's like, this is a fucking nightmare. I'll talk to you later. Ciao. So conflicting reports, but
but I'm gonna trust his voice on a voicemail.
yeah.
More than
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
trust
yeah.
anything else.
Also, one of the things that he did right before he leaves that people can't figure out why he did, there's no receipts on it. He changed his will, where it was split pretty evenly between multiple family members as well as his son and his wife.
Huh.
But it changed to cut everybody else out
Except
for
for-
his wife.
Interesting.
Interessante.
Very interesting.
It's right before they left for the trip. And,
Sudden will changes are the most suspicious.
and 3 weeks later, he's dead.
Wow.
So, and it's $6 million. So
Yeah.
no one can figure out what his motivation was for it. It's very,
That's very,
very bizarre.
Suspect.
People have speculated on it, but like no one has any proof as to like whether or not she was pressuring him to, or like why he would do this thing. It's
Yeah.
very weird. So anyways, they're on this trip. They finally get to Brazil. He gets really drunk at dinner, and she's like, you know what? I don't fucking need this. I'm leaving. And he's like, fuck you. You can't leave. I'm leaving first. And he takes their kid
Mature.
and leaves.
I don't like
it's
that.
like so immature.
God.
So they end up, she like gets really nasty with him. He fucking throws her down in front of everybody and scrapes her fucking face up in her arms.
No.
And so then the crowd gets really pissed.
Good job,
crowd.
Good
The
job.
crowd is like, no,
Not today, sir.
Not today,
No.
sir. And so like she's like crying, and she like goes to go back to the hotel. That crowd gets so pissed at him, witnessing him doing domestic violence against his wife.
Not mad
that,
at him.
Like 4 guys end up fighting him and beating the shit out of him.
Good. I'm not angry about that.
So apparently
Crowdsource that.
there's several witnesses that witnessed the fight, and there's some disparity about what the extent of his injuries were, because he was a fucking professional
Fighter.
boxer
Yeah.
and a fighter. And so some people were like, yeah, no one really came close to him or did anything. But their cab driver that took him home was like, no, he had an injury on the back of his head, and there was blood on my taxi cab seat when I dropped him off. So he had something, because someone was like, someone was like, yeah, people were throwing rocks and someone threw a bicycle, which I was like, I was like, I paused and I like
that guy.
wrote that down. I was like, someone was so upset that they were like I'm going to throw this
Team
whole
whoever that was.
fucking bicycle at your face.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you for
It was
hitting
Christina.
somebody. Exactly.
Night of tequila. She was like,
Fuck you. I like, what is near me? There's this table. It's kind of bolted down. Here's a
bicycle.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So he gets back to the hotel, and she's already asleep. It's like around 2 a.m. She gets up because BT Dubs, they have like a 1-year-old baby. So she gets up early in the morning, and she needs to get the baby a bottle. So she walks downstairs.
I'm sorry. I have to say, just split up.
Yeah.
Just be done.
Just be done.
Just be done.
If you're this bad for each other, because again, it's like what we were talking about earlier, you know, you can do awful things, and I don't necessarily think that you're an awful person, but clearly you are an awful person when you're in this relationship.
Here's what I think that I may not have the perspective on. Maybe a little because of people that I know, but what happens when you have children involved? Because I know people on both sides who are like, it's better for the children to not witness a toxic relationship and to grow up. And that's kind of where I fall too.
Yeah.
But I do know a couple of people who are like, I have to stay. I need to be around my kid.
Yeah.
And
I think there's a mentality at that point too.
It's very, so
But
the kid was a big part of it.
For me, if I saw my parents, and I did see my parents argue.
Right.
Like, really, really argue in
Yeah.
ways
It's
that
not
were
helpful.
damaging to them and to me.
Me
Beg
too.
my parents get divorced.
You know, and I love both my parents are still together. It's not anything, it's no shade on any of that. It's just like, but to say that didn't affect me or create any kind of lasting impact, like, of course it did.
Yeah.
Of course it did. And if it was this toxic,
Right.
where they were fighting each other,
like physically. Yeah.
and if your kid is worth it enough for you to stay in a toxic relationship for, it's worth it enough for you to stop fucking drinking then.
Yeah. It's worth it enough for you to stop drinking.
Go to therapy.
Yeah.
Thank
Go
you.
to therapy.
All this stuff. But anyways, so she fucking goes downstairs to get the baby a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 6, 7 in the morning or something. She gets the baby a bottle. She notices him out of the corner of her eye on the floor.
She notices her husband, not the
Her
baby.
husband
Yeah, okay, got it.
on the floor. And she's like, oh, he's passed out on the floor again, is what she thinks. And goes back upstairs, feeds the baby, and goes back to bed. Then a couple hours later, she goes back downstairs, and he's still on the floor. And that's when she finally starts to be suspicious. And she's like, goes over to check him out. Now, I saw the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is he on the floor, which is he's in a bizarre position on a tile floor.
Yeah, but if you know what, I mean, if you have somebody who gets drunk around you all the time and maybe passes out, like you might be like, "Man, fuck him. He passed out." I don't know.
Right. And
like,
she was very angry at him.
Yeah.
Very angry at him.
Sure.
In that she had been like fucked up. Because I guess when he came home, he was like, "Who did that to you, baby?" Like her fucking face was, and she's like, "You fucking did that to me." And she said he got really sad about that. Like he was like
he's
sobered up
Jekyll
enough.
and Hyde.
Yeah, sobered up enough. So she fucking goes over and touches him, and she's like, "By the way, I saw the pictures. Not only is he passed out on the floor, there's a pool of blood around him."
Oh, that she didn't notice the first time?
Yeah, and I don't know how you don't notice it.
Got it.
So
it wasn't dark?
The crime scene photos that I saw, it's like you have to walk down the stairs. You walk down these stairs, and they're not closed off stairs. They're like open stairs. And he is underneath those stairs on a white tile floor with fucking blood in the grout all around him. Passed out in a really weird position. And she had to walk by it to get the bottle. Walk back up the stairs. And then a couple hours later came down and was like, "This is weird." So police come. She like freaks out because she's like, he's fucking dead. She freaks out. The police come and they're like, yeah, he has a fucking enormous gash on the back of his head. There's your fucking purse strap bloody underneath his body. And a dead guy.
That's weird.
So you're fucking under arrest.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I hope that they said
arrest
it like
her.
That.
You're
fucking
so too.
under arrest.
You
man.
are fucking under arrest. So they keep her for a few weeks, but then the coroner determines out of nowhere, they're like, it's suicide.
What?
How?
Wait, what?
I fucking hate
that
this
he
shit.
strangled himself with her purse strap.
How?
And there were witnesses that said he had a rock and a bicycle thrown at him, and he had that gash on the back of his head already. But there's so much controversy mired in this. In that there are a lot of people, his family, his friends, Irish Mickey Ward, thinks he came home drunk with some, like, incapacitated. Maybe that injury already on the back of his head, kind of passed out, and she fucking took advantage of it and is like, you know what? Enough's enough. And was able to. Now she's small and he's a fucking world champion fighter. Yeah. But he's like, if he was fucked up enough.
I mean, that'd be really difficult. I think.
I think it would be really hard, but I mean, I guess it depends on how incapacitated he was.
Right.
Like, and if you're blackout can't, I mean, I've seen big guys who have drank so much that they can't fucking like get up off the floor.
Right.
But I don't think if you came after them, they wouldn't be able to fight back.
I mean, maybe, but but I think it really does depend on like how fucked up you are, I guess.
Yeah, but it's also
I don't. But
how
I also
much
know
do you
that
know somebody and know.
I guess that's true because I know myself, and I'd be like, I wouldn't be willing to take that chance that they'd be able to be strong enough,
especially considering
if they've hurt me in the
obviously
past. Right.
Now,
if they're willing to, if they've thrown punches at me in the past, like I wouldn't take that chance. But how desperate was she? Who knows?
There was a couple of private investigators that the family hired to go down that tried to recreate the suicide, tried to recreate the conditions of where his body landed, like all this kind of stuff.
Is it even
they
plausible?
Did it thousands of times, and they were not able to recreate it.
Well, and for me, she walked fucking past him.
She walked fucking past him, and when you see the crime photos, like I said, like you cannot miss the blood in the grout.
Right, because I was going to say...
Like, but was her fingerprints on the fucking purse strap? Like, as far as like...
That's the thing, is that Brazilian police apparently have been fucking bombarded with just bullshit because they did not do like any fucking testing or anything. They did. They fucking looked at the scene and they were like, this seems weird. Fucking arrest that chick.
They did arrest her, They
did arrest her. But then once they
Beyond
quote
that.
unquote investigated it, the coroner was like, it was a suicide. And they fucking released her. And that's where they're at now. Is
There
that
are so
it
many
has
question
been
about the
ruled
suicide.
a suicide. And
so they're saying he died of strangulation.
Correct. He died of asphyxiation.
And they're saying that he choked himself enough to get. Could you?
That's really hard to do.
It would be. Can you do that?
Because I mean, they talk about people who try and drown themselves.
Yeah, you can.
And even if you want to die, short of like weighing your body down,
that's why you have to. You take something and you have to like sit against a doorknob or sit against something.
You have to hang yourself or something where, because your body will fight against trying to. It doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why Virginia will fucking put those stones in her dress. Like you have to do something. It's almost impossible to drown yourself. When someone says like, "Oh, they drowned themselves in the bathtub,"
they did not.
Almost impossible to do that because your
body will fight back.
Your fight response kicks in. So to strangle yourself, that's where it goes off the rails for me. Is I'm like, to strangle yourself with a purse strap.
Right.
I don't care how fucked up you
when
are.
You look at the scene, you're like, where did you hang yourself from? And the purse strap is so weird. It's like this weird, like clippy, I don't know, 2000s purse. You know what I mean? Like,
and if you're gonna fucking kill yourself, there's a lot of ways to get that job done that wouldn't require strangulation. Takes a really fucking long time.
Yeah.
Like, it takes a long time.
And people were like, you know, it was really interesting to watch because it is a lot of outside looking in and we don't know a lot. And there were a couple people who were like, he had demons and it is something to be hit in the head that much. And people don't fucking talk about
it's like Benoit,
the fucking
Chris
depression that happens. Yeah. He had been retired. He didn't have anything going on. He had this fucking crazy ass fucking relationship and his brain was jello.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying that he wouldn't have killed himself. Like, I'm not at all saying that he was incapable of doing that. I'm just saying this situation.
Looking at all of the evidence that I saw, I am so undecided. You can make a fucking case either way.
Yeah.
Well,
nobody knows.
I'm never ever team like I knew him so well and he wouldn't have done this. Like you don't know that. You don't know that person and you don't know.
Never know
as somebody who has anxiety and depression, you don't always fucking know when someone is having like a depressive episode or an incredibly like anxious episode. You don't know that.
And honestly, like I do not consider myself like a suicidal person, but like if you do,
everyone has thoughts.
Everyone has thoughts. And like if you get drunk enough and you're on a bad fucking day, and like I had times this past year where things got fucking
dark,
bleak.
Yeah.
And thank fucking God I have fucking friends and I don't have a toxic relationship or I have people that I can reach out to and I can be like,
it's more
do you want to grab dinner tonight? You know what I mean? To distract myself and get myself out of that.
Yes.
Like always.
Yes, we should. It's more the details of this case specifically that I feel like are like suspect. I'm not saying he wouldn't have killed himself because we just did an episode for YAMF where we talked about like feminists and musicians, and Madigan talked about Kurt Cobain because he actually was an outspoken feminist, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people feel like Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself, and I'm like, I don't know. I think that he probably did.
I do
do that.
I think he did too.
I think that he probably did. I don't think like standing by and being like. A lot of people have problems and demons and issues.
The woman in a relationship like that anyway. If we're being
they want
completely
to.
honest.
They want to blame Courtney.
We'll talk about that for Crazy in Love for sure. But like, I feel like a lot of people, anytime somebody kills themselves, people have questions like this,
right?
And they don't want to believe that someone did that, as if it's something that's super shameful, which it's not. And I feel like it's not that he didn't kill himself. Or he did. That's not the question here. It's more of like looking at the evidence and saying like it doesn't look like he could have or would have done this in this way.
It looks fucking super
suspicious,
fucking crazy,
and I'm not trying to like point fingers at anyone. It's just like
so for years,
seems weird.
Amanda has lived under suspicion. She ended up moving back to Montreal, where like all of his family and everything lives.
I sure would not do that.
She opened up a boutique because they took her to court and they were like, "Let's fucking split. Like this is weird. This is weird that his will was changed. You're fucking arrested in Brazil for his murder or whatever. She won the court case. She has all of his money because she refused them. She's like, I'm not splitting it with you. He fucking wrote his will out to me and my son, and that's that.
Yeah.
She's like, I loved him. It wasn't a perfect relationship by any stretch of the imagination. I love my son, and he made this choice.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think I latched onto this case so much because it bothered me. Usually you watch something like this and it's really cut and dry.
Yeah.
You look at someone and you're like, you're a fucking liar or whatever. But I could not get to the bottom of this case.
Yeah.
I saw both sides and I'm like, I can't fucking figure it out. I really can't.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by this case.
It's very sad that like sometimes there are just things that like we won't know the answers to because it seems very suspicious, but you also can't throw somebody in jail for the rest of their lives for something that seems suspicious.
That's like, this is weird. It's got to be more
it is
than
weird.
that.
Yeah.
It is weird, but weird shit happens.
Weird shit happens.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah,
What a good one. That's a really good one.
Crazy
sad
in Love
one.
of Arturo Gatti.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this was a long episode, you guys, but we hope you enjoyed the wild rides we took you on. Were you done? I'm so sorry.
Yes, I know. I am.
Are we not gonna what we're watching this week or?
Oh yeah, no, we should do that. I'm not watching anything, but I did want to talk about one thing in particular. I'm not watching anything new. I'm still watching Deadwood. I'm making my way through that.
Yeah.
But I started listening to Lizzo.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Holy
So good.
shit.
So
you
good.
guys, if you
I'm
are
digging
feeling
the fucking her track with Missy Elliott.
Oh, it's amazing.
Tempo.
Oh, Tempo
Yeah,
is
Tempo.
great.
Some songs, skinny hoes.
There are like if you are someone in Drinkerinos was like, I'm feeling down about myself. I feel like, oh no, it wasn't Drinkerinos. It was I'm in a till death marriage group. That's also a Murderino crossover group.
Yes.
A wedding group. And she was saying how she feels really bad about herself and she like doesn't feel like worthy of like having a bridal shower or like being a bride. She feels like her self-confidence is really low. And I was like,
Hug.
Oh, you're
I was
like,
like,
oh, girl.
pour yourself a drink of whatever you drink.
Yes.
And go put on Lizzo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that woman's self-confidence, like honestly, it's probably the wine, but it like makes me like want to cry because I'm just like never in my life. And I feel like I have a pretty conventionally like my figure is, I've always been slim. It's not, but I still have like body dysmorphia about
really
like
do.
myself.
Yeah.
I love you, but you fucking
no, I
do.
do. I absolutely do. I absolutely do. I'm coming to terms with the fact that that's the case for me. But listening to Lizzo has just made me feel like, oh my God, like she's incredible.
She got
She
your back,
makes
girl.
me want to feel like I'm incredible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if
I love that.
you are struggling with like self-confidence and like self-worth and self-love, go put on Lizzo's new album and just kick back and be like, you're the best. You're the most
it.
boss bitch of all time.
Amy Schumer said it best. It was like, I'm heavier than I've ever been in my life right now, but I could catch a dick any
they're coming at you.
time.
And you know what? And
I'm
also,
beating off.
you're
the dick.
beating them off, first of all.
See?
But secondly, even if you fucking weren't, your worth is not quantified by how many men want to fuck you.
No.
Like,
True.
because
Thank you. Thank you.
are fucking awesome
Awesome.
anyway.
Thank
And
you.
if they can't see that, that doesn't determine your
Right.
worth. But also,
That determines their worth.
That determines their worth. But also,
I feel fucking great in my skin right
That's
now.
exactly
I
right.
might not like I said, I'm
cares?
maybe like a few pounds more than I'm used to being.
I am
but
definitely a few pounds more
but
than I'm used to. Who cares?
I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
You're fucking awesome.
I'm a narcissist, so I'm always happy with
You're
me,
like,
you know,
this
when
is
I'm
your
fun.
problem.
I'm the Lizzo of this group. I'm all like,
you're
bitches,
like-
please. I don't know if you saw these curves. This is a natural hourglass
We're
figure.
going
You're-
into
well,
Playboy
also,
today.
it's not a
Yes.
natural hourglass figure. I totally got lipo and boobs. But you know what? I
But
earned
you
it,
know what? But
bitch.
also it makes you happy. And so like who
That's
cares?
right.
Who cares? But like that's the whole thing.
don't
So
care.
I'm just saying I'm not watching anything new. But I
Lizzo
discovered
is
Lizzo
real.
I'm
and
here for
people
it.
had talked about it, and anytime too many people talk about a thing, I'm like, fuck it. I
Alright,
I don't
fine.
need that in my life.
Yeah.
But then it came up in like my like rotation
groups, yeah.
on Spotify, and I was like, I'm going to listen to everything this woman puts out because she makes me
amazing.
feel good about me. And I love her.
That's great. Yeah. I fucking trailer for new Black Mirror for all the nerdy listeners out there who like existential dread. That's what I'm
one end of the spectrum to the other.
Dude, it looks so good. And Miley Cyrus is on it, and I love Miley Cyrus so hard.
Miley Cyrus so hard.
Love her.
I do.
Mike, real quickie one, since I'll share, is Imposters. Have you guys ever seen that show?
No.
It used to be on Bravo
last night.
Used to be on Bravo, and I think it's only 2 seasons long. I just binge watched it this week while I was out. I super love it. I kind of am hoping, like, it's one of those things where, like, it ended in a way that, like, if it's canceled, it's fine. Like, and it was canceled off of Bravo. It didn't make sense for Bravo. Yeah. I could see Netflix picking it up. I think that it might be getting some steam. I kept noticing it on the top, which is why I decided to, like, invest in it a little bit again. It's definitely a binge worthy kind of thing. Yeah. It's not one that I can wait every week for a new episode, but in a binge situation where I can knock out all the episodes,
hell yeah.
It's really cute. It's good. It's good. It seems to be, you know, very well thought out, like well written. I'm just liking it. You know? It's enjoyable. It's not like something like I'm not like Dear Diary saw the best show today and it was called Imposters. You know what I mean? Like, but it was good.
Sometimes,
it was enjoyable.
Sometimes
I'm not always looking for the best show.
I'm not. Sure. You know what I will say though? Good Girls is coming to their their season finale. Sorry, not series. They are coming to their season finale. Anthony is the sweetest, and he got me tickets to go to USC to go watch. I've already seen the season premiere from season 2, but they're screening it at USC, and they're having a talk back with Christina Hendricks and like Retta.
I love that show.
Yes, so I am like, we'll see if there are any more tickets if you want to go, because I love that show. I think it's so fun.
Cute.
Yeah.
It will hit you on that note. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Imposters will hit that note for you.
Yes. Okay. I'm down.
Wow. What an episode, you guys.
I know.
We really hit it.
Thank you for coming on this National Wine Day journey.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly. Wow. Again, if you have any stories at all or want to reach out or say hi, we are constantly grateful for the amount of support and messages that we receive.
It's amazing. I have to say,
it really is amazing. It makes me very emotional.
In a way that it does make me emotional. Anytime we get a message from somebody like today that we read, where we're just like,
got a message.
And so like I love your podcast. It makes me, I take it with me
Can't
when I
wait for
jog.
Thursday
I laugh
or
in
Wednesday.
public with other people. Like it is bizarre to me because I'm just like, people in other countries are listening to us on the regular, and like I'm like, what?
It just, now I am getting emotional. Now I'm not just sick. It makes me emotional because, again, we're getting close to this year anniversary, and I take anniversaries very like seriously, but to take something that was like really painful in my life and get to make it something that is so positive, and that we've created this like amazing group of people, it just means so much to me. It means so much.
I see people sharing their stories in our Facebook group, like their stories of like their dates.
They're
and, like,
sharing it with
and
each
they're
other.
talking to each other, and they're like, "Girl, I know, me too." And it's like, it is something
it makes
that
me
like
so happy.
It is like, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm constantly, as someone who grew up like very Christian and like you're supposed to be super humble, and like I am uncomfortable with feeling like, oh, we did something cool.
Yeah.
But there is something to be said for feeling like we did bring people together in a way that makes me so happy. And like, it doesn't, of course, like, would I love to do this? Of course, it's grown so much. You guys are going to be my bridesmaids. It's grown so much. And like, as much as I want to say, like, you know, I would love for this to be my job, and I would love to not do anything else and just be able to tour and do the podcast.
Yeah.
Like, even if that never, ever, ever happens, the rest of it is so rewarding to me. Like, I feel so rewarded just that people care and they listen and they think we're funny and they can relate and they can share their stories, and it's cathartic for them. That matters to me.
Even Dude Face in Australia who thinks our voices are annoying, but the stories are funny.
We saw you.
We agree.
I can sometimes not get through my own episodes because I'm like, my voice sucks. I get it. I do get it. You gave us 2 stars. Sir,
You didn't even have to marry this voice. Imagine poor Chris. My God.
I know.
Please reach out at myworstdatepodcast.com. We're eternally grateful, and we will see you next time.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.